Councillors, please take your seats. We are going to start. Councillors, good morning. It's 10 o'clock. We are going to start the meeting. Councillors, that includes you. First of all, welcome to the councillors, the officials, as well as the media and guests in the gallery, and those members of the public connected via the live YouTube link. A special word of welcome today to the Cape Town Children's Choir, who will be performing for us in a few minutes. I call now for a moment's silence. Thank you. All right, so now we need to register. Councillors, will you proceed with the electronic registration? You will find an instruction manual on your counters, on your desk. If you just put your cards into the clip, it will register you automatically, and then we can determine that we are officially quorate. Yeah, thank you. Councillors, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce the Cape Town Children's Choir, an inspiring group of young vocalists who represent the very best musical talent in the city. It was founded in 2020 by Bronwyn Leith, Anne Mayer and Helen Stabery, and the choir provides a nurturing space between 7 and 16 to grow their musical skills and talents. They are based at the Beau Soleil Music Centre in Kenilworth, and the choir exemplifies the values of excellence, inclusion, artistic expression, and we are proud to welcome them to Council today and wish them every success as they prepare to hopefully represent Cape Town on an international stage at the Interculture Africa Asia Pacific Choir Games in Mauritius later this year. I call on the choir to come forward. Councillor Haynes.
Morning, Speaker. Speaker, before, I just wanted to get clarity. You asked us for a minute of silence, which we did. I'm just not sure, was it just a way of opening in silent prayer, or was it done in, are we still getting to while we're having the pictures in front?
We're going to get to that later. We're starting on a positive note. All right. Madam Conductor, when you're ready. Councillors, please give the young people the space to perform with confidence. councillors. I think they have more in store for us. Thank you. That was truly amazing.
Music will unite us.
Okay, the mayor wants a photo opportunity.
They remind me of my time when I was a singer, speaker. My time.
If you could look in front of you to the camera. Thank you very much. Well done. Councillors, thank you. Councillors, please. Mr. Mayor, I now call on you to do your mayoral address.
Speaker,
I've called on the mayor to do his address.
he has not addressed this yet. Can you
What
acknowledge?
is your point?
No.
You
Speaker,
cannot interject without a point of
but I'm
order.
not interjecting anyone. No one was speaking when I said speaker.
Thank you. Are we going to settle?
So Speaker, quick question. We are seeing two pictures
Yes, you
next
will
to
get
the
an
mayor.
explanation in a minute. Just
No,
wait
can we
for
get the explanation before the mayor speaks?
Yes.
We don't.
We will get the explanation in the
in my
mayor's
speech.
speech. Just be patient, it will come. Everything comes to those that wait. Mr. Mayor,
Madam Speaker, fellow councillors and aldermen and colleagues in Team Cape Town, members of the public who are joining us, Goeiemorgen, Molweni, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, I think that we can all agree that that was the most beautiful thing this month. On behalf of everyone in our council, our heartfelt thanks go to the outstanding Cape Town Children's Choir under the leadership of Choir Director Mrs. Bronwyn Leith for sharing your music with us this morning. There is something truly wonderful about making music together as a group, about creating something beautiful together, working hard to perfect your performance and knowing that you are in perfect harmony. As the speaker has said, I'm told the Cape Town Children's Choir is planning to go to an important international in Mauritius. Lovely place to have a choir competition. Maybe we should join them, colleagues. And I really do hope that you are able to go there, boys and girls, because going on what we have heard this morning, you will do our city extremely proud. Good luck there. Colleagues, some of you have asked about these photos of our former mayors. On a sadder note, in the month of July, we had to bid farewell to two former mayors of our city. Former Mayor Frank van der Velde and former Mayor Theresa Solomon. And they passed away within days of each other. I'd like to take a moment to pay tribute to these former mayors and to express the gratitude of the city and our residents for their important contributions to our city's history. Both former mayors van der Velde and Solomon stood at the helm of the city during a critical time of great change in our country. And both of them navigated those turbulent waters with a calmness and a sense of purpose that set Cape Town on a path of stability and prosperity. Frank van der Velde, former Mayor van der Velde, rather took office in 1991 and served as mayor until 1993, just on the eve of our country's first democratic election. All of you who lived through those events will know just how shaky and uncertain that time was. While many leaders and organizations worked for a peaceful transition, there were also many who unfortunately tried to destabilize and derail those first critical years. Thankfully, the builders of our democracy won over the breakers and steered our country through negotiations and change, setting us on a path to shared and peaceful future as a unified nation. That is the miracle of the Rainbow Nation. Former Mayor van der Velde also reached out to me at the start of my own term of office, and we had a lunch together once. And he offered me very warm and supportive words of encouragement and a couple of follow-up WhatsApps over the years after that. And I was very grateful for his outreach. I know that Mayor van der Velde was a committed family man, a caring husband and father who loved his 3 sons and their families dearly. I offer his whole family and all of his loved ones our deepest condolences. And then a few days later, we learned with sadness of the passing of former Mayor Teresa Solomon, another Cape Town mayor whose term of office spanned some of the very new, uncharted territory in our country and in our city, this time serving from 1996 to 1998, just as Cape Town was taking its first steps into our new democratic era. Former Mayor Solomon's life was filled with activism and accomplishments for causes in which she believed very passionately. Long before she first stood for public office, she was a fighter for justice and a proud and socially engaged resident of her beloved woodlands. Everyone who knew her speaks of her fierce and principled defiance when it came to issues of injustice, but also her deep maternal side, her care and empathy for the vulnerable members of her community, and particularly vulnerable children in Woodlands and the greater Mitchells Plain. Both during her term of office and before that in her activism years, she prioritized issues that she knew would make a big and lasting impact in people's lives. Things like community facilities, combating gangsterism, and fighting for better community safety. She also believed in the power of property ownership to change lives. And as mayor, she began the very first process of transferring ownership of council rental homes, something which we are continuing and turbocharging right now. At a time when our city was still just trying to find its first feet in the new South Africa, Mayor Teresa Solomon's steadfast principles helped guide our city through a very tricky period. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that we now stand to observe a moment of silence in memory of both Mayor Frank van der Velde and Mayor Teresa Solomon. Thank you very much. Now, colleagues, on to the business of our council meeting today. You may remember that each year I've tried to recognize outstanding performances of several city directorates in spending their capital investment budgets. And today is no exception. We will do so again today. Because I believe it's very important that we acknowledge the exceptional efforts of our teams to turn their budgets into plans of delivery and then spend them efficiently. It's one thing infrastructure budgets every year in our quest to invest in a better city, but those records mean little if the budgets just stay as numbers on a page. They actually have to be spent, and spent responsibly and as fully as possible. And I assure you, spending your allocated budget within the time frame of a financial year and doing so within the incredibly strict parameters that govern public expenditure is not an easy task. But each year, we see directorates and teams in our city achieve outstanding capital expenditure spending results. And it is important that these efforts are properly recognized. Colleagues, I'm pleased to announce that the final figures are now in. We are now more than 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks after the close of our financial year. And the final figures are in. And I'm very pleased to let you know that our city spent 92.3% of our capital budget. That is 9.5 billion rand of a total capital budget of just over 10 billion rand. Just to remind you, that is more than all three of the Gauteng metros spent in this year. Now, we were desperately hoping to cross over that psychological 10 billion rand barrier, the first time that any city in our country would have achieved that number. We didn't get there this year. We were just shy at 9.5 billion. But I am confident that in this current financial year, which has already begun, that we will cross over that barrier. And as we did last year, I want to single out some of our directorates, the top performing directorates, that achieved the highest percentage of their respective budgets in infrastructure investment. And I've made some certificates for those directorates, which I will now hand over to their mayoral committee members. And I've also, I hope that some of the executive directors are here with us as well. Okay, now let me just get these out. In third position in the city, having spent an impressive 96.3% of its not insignificant nearly 400 million rand infrastructure budget, is our Urban Waste Management Directorate. Congratulations. Now, come on. Both of you, come on.
General is the landfill side, by the way.
So I invited Ms. Pila Maisela down as well, because she was for the last year the acting executive director, and so a lot of this credit extends to her, and she did an amazing job, and we thank her very much. Our brand new executive director, Mr. McNeil, also joined. So he gets to hold the certificate, but he's just joined in the last few weeks. So thank you and welcome to the team. Then in second place, with a 97.4% performance of its again not insignificant capital budget, is our Corporate Services Directorate. Well done to the Corporate Services team. And for the, now I've lost, there we go. And it must be said for the second time, coming in first, having spent almost every rand of their capital budget at 99.7% of its 472 million rand budget, our Safety and Security Directorate.
This is manipulation. People are dying. More of people are dying.
There must be a miscalculation here.
manipulation.
There must be a,
Councillors, please. Councillors, I know that some of you don't
Come.
celebrate these achievements, but you can please just be quiet and respect the mayor.
Colleagues,
Mr. Mayor, you may continue.
thank you very much. Thank you. I cannot stress enough how impressive it is to achieve these results. It takes the building of systems that are able to deliver complex projects on time and nearly perfectly on budget. So to all three of those, and in particular our repeat winner, Alderman Smith and the Safety and Security team, thank you and congratulations for this remarkable outcome.
Councillor Saturin, I'm naming you for the first time.
Now, Madam Speaker, those are the top three performing directorates in terms of percentages of their budget spent.
Councillor Solomons, I'm naming you for the first time.
But as you will recall from last year, we make one more additional recognition award for the highest performing directorate that forms part of what I lightheartedly refer to as our Billions Club. Those directorates with capital budgets in excess of 1 billion rand for the financial year. And we do this because spending those enormous sums of money responsibly and on time and on budget is extremely complex and challenging and deserving of a special mention, I think. Now, if you look at our capital budget, you will see that our Billions Club has got 4 members. Our Energy Directorate, our Human Settlements Directorate, our Urban Mobility Directorate, and our Water and Sanitation Directorate. And together, listen to that, just these 4 directorates are responsible for 79% of our entire capital budget. So they really are the big spenders, the big investors. And this year's top investor from the Billions Club is a particularly remarkable performance because they are by far our biggest directorates in terms of budget. Our Water and Sanitation Directorate managed to spend, let's listen to the result, managed to spend an incredible 94.7% of their nearly 4 billion rand capital budget for 2024-25. Right. They spent 3.95 billion rand to be precise. The budget for water and sanitation accounts for almost 40 cents out of every rand that we invest in infrastructure in the city. And to achieve a spend performance of 95%, or just shy, I'll round up for you to 95, on such a big budget takes some doing. So to the entire water and sanitation team, we appreciate your efforts very much, and we'd love to see you repeat this again and again and again. Please come and receive your prize. Our Executive Director, Leonardo Manis, is on leave today, a well-earned leave after that performance. So our Director, Etienne Hicho, who I'm sure you all know well, is here to receive on their behalf. And please don't leave, Mr. Hicho. I've got more in store for water and sanitation. Okay, so to the entire water and sanitation team, I say to you, we all appreciate your efforts very much. Thank you for that performance. The projects funded by this water and sanitation capital budget are a big part of realizing our vision for Cape Town and future-proofing our city for decades to come. Every section of pipe replacement, every wastewater work upgrade, every pump station that is refurbished or improved, every source of water that is added to our city supply, all of that work is an investment in the dignity and health of Cape Townians and is changing people's lives for the better. Now, you will remember, Alderman Sotashe, that you gave us a little punch in the ribs, which last year, because we got 97.5, and our target was 100. We missed it by 2.5. And you're absolutely right to do so. That's nothing wrong with that, proper oversight. But I said to you at the time we'd come back storming. And so I thought, how can I make a little prize to say thank you to the Water and Sanitation Department for, the numbers are now in, 117.3 kilometers of pipe replacement this year. Now, let me introduce you to the Golden Pipe Award. Alderman Smith will be pleased that my spray painting abilities clearly show I've never graffitied anything. And this is in recognition of a truly remarkable performance, more than the city has ever done before in a one-year performance. 117.3 kilometers in the 2024-25 financial year. And if you keep breaking records, we will add those records onto the Golden Pipe Floating Trophy. Please come and get it. And come, Etienne. Ask Etienne. Oh, sorry. Well done to you. So, well done to all of the colleagues who have delivered impressive capital expenditure results through very, very tough circumstances. Our teams have battled near constant interference on our construction sites, huge safety concerns, contractors turning down contracts and jobs because of that, and still they have managed to deliver these impressive 9.5 billion rand results. So to all of our Team Cape Town members, please convey our thanks to all of them, and let's give Team Cape Town collectively a round of applause for that performance. Colleagues, we recognize these achievements and make these acknowledgements not simply to self-congratulate, but because they are such an important part of realizing our vision for our city. What we are trying to do here really matters. So many of the service delivery challenges that beset our communities across Cape Town are infrastructure related. We are trying to do what it takes to steer our city towards working better for everyone who lives in our city, towards being able to cope with the tremendous growth in our population and all of the pressure that that brings to our infrastructure network. And we are towards being able to improve the quality of life for everyone. And the only way to do so, and I emphasize, the only way to avoid the crises that have befallen every other city in South Africa is to keep investing in infrastructure at a much higher level. And to do so now rather than later. To do so now as opposed to when the roads and the water and the electricity networks have already collapsed, as we've seen in other cities. Because by then it is far too late. I realize it would be so much easier to avoid this question and to just kick the can down the road for a future government and future councillors to deal with. It would be far less uncomfortable if we didn't have to have these conversations around how to fund all of this infrastructure investment for Cape Town. But that is not the job that we were all elected here to do. We pledged to put Cape Town on a path towards hope. And that means doing the difficult but necessary work now so that we can have a much more successful city in the future. I can guarantee that many residents of cities like Joburg and Durban are now wishing that their city governments had had such difficult conversations with them years ago and had raised the levels of infrastructure investment back then. Because now it is much harder, very, very difficult for those cities to fix those networks and to play catch up. And even if they could start such investments now, it will be many, many years before they pay off, and at much, much higher cost. Cape Town simply will not follow that path. That is why we are building Cape Town, project by project, into a city that will withstand the shocks and stresses of our fast-growing future, while supporting a robust and growing economy that is able to get many more people into work in our city. And that is what we mean, always, when we say that we are building a city of hope. And we have every intention of showing, not just our residents, Africa, that it can be done. We do not have to accept that failure or reversal is a permanent feature of our future. Rather, we can show that success, progress, forward movement for everyone is possible. And that is what we are doing in the city of Cape Town. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Before we go to questions, Councillor Haynes, you indicated you wish to...
Yeah, Speaker, can we give to Councillor Chido, please, the leader?
Certainly. Councillor Chido.
Thank you very much, Speaker. The ANC wishes to pass its heartfelt condolences to the families of the two former mayors, Mayor Frank van der Frank, and our dear mother, Teresa Solomon. Speaker, we want to, as the ANC, take this moment, probably send a message to Teresa Solomon specifically that the Cape Town that she was first black female mayor for still promotes the segregational development.
Okay, if you're going to get into something negative, we're going to cut that. Okay? This is an opportunity to celebrate. Please continue, but be mindful that this...
I should add to the message sent to Teresa Solomon that the is impatient and not tolerant for views that may be negative depending on where one sits. The Cape Town that she left is home where the council just pat itself at the back, Madam Speaker, on the spending on number of service delivery areas for which Teresa Solomon stood. But in that happening, there's a child whose head was stuck with a knife in Khayelitsha 7 days ago in the Cape Town that Teresa Solomon said. So as we celebrate statistics and numbers, we want to send this message to her that a lot still needs to change in Cape Town for the benefit of the people of Cape Town.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the questions to the Mayor. And the EFF has a question.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings to you, Mayor. Section 27 of the Constitution guarantees all citizens services. Mayor, the DA often describes itself as the best run metro in South Africa. However, on the 29th of July, community members of Happy Valley, they had a large and a big protest. Were not so happy. And it's simply because their ward councillor decided to neglect them.
Oh.
One, the question is, are you aware of this? We tried to intervene, tried to get even our law enforcement agencies to escort her to face her community members. The complaint is that they have never, they are ward councillor. The councillor, we don't know why she has not. Mayor, I think there was a level of transparency.
Thank you. The minute's over. Have you?
How do you
Next
calculate it?
question. You get a minute, Councillor. Remember, we asked everybody to read the rules. It's a minute. We have a timer. Thank you. Councillor, did you get the point? Thank you. We're moving on to Councillor Mamkeli. Councillor Mamkeli. Councillor Mamkeli. Councillor Nambuza, I'm naming you for the first time. Where is Councillor Mamkeli? Yeah, thank you.
Engosi Somlom. So the loop, we have just mentioned the issue of the sewer pipeline projects that has been successfully implemented. But my experience in Lavender Hill, in Manenberg, in Westbank, and in Vrygrond actually, and with Blackisdorp, getting into my boot because of the sewer pump that has been dysfunctional. Where exactly are the locations? Can you provide that information to this council? Where exactly these projects have taken place. Give us a list and also direct us to who must we speak to get the full information, because it's easy for you to come and speak there and do your PR exercise, which you DA are good at in any case, but there's absolutely fuck all that is happening on the ground.
Point of
So why are you interrupting? Because
point of order.
what?
Point of order.
I'm being disrupted, Speaker. I'm being disrupted. Speaker, I'm being
Of
disrupted.
order, Speaker.
Councillor, will you withdraw that word that you used?
Two words.
Which word?
He said cuck and he said folk or whatever he said.
Thank you, Councillor. Will you withdraw
Speaker.
those words?
I ran from 31
Councillor,
Isn't focal nothing? It's an Afrikaans word.
Councillor,
You,
Councillor Cupidale, I'm naming you for the first time. Councillor Bengi, I'm naming you for the first time. Councillor Mankeli, you have 7 seconds. Can you withdraw that word, please?
Which word?
It really is a problem when you can't discern the words. All right? Thank you. Your time's up. Mr. Mayor, do you want to answer those 2 questions, or do you want to take all of the questions?
Let's take them all.
Okay. The next question is from the PA. Councillor
Madam
Manley.
Speaker,
Councillors, please. There's a councillor on the floor. Councillor Dembuza, I'm naming you for the second time. Councillor Matey, you may please speak.
point of order.
Can we please, Councillor, I'm now naming you in terms of the rules for the 3rd time. Can you take your seat? Then, can you leave the council chamber? Please leave the chamber. Please leave the chamber. Councillor Dembuza, please leave the chamber. Thank you. Councillor, sit down. Thank you. Can law enforcement please remove the 2 councillors from the chamber? Councillor Tandela, only you, I'm naming you for the 2nd time. Councillor Dembuza, I have asked you to leave. Please leave. You will be removed otherwise. You will be removed. All right. Can Councillor Matey please continue?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The 26th of July marked a sad day for the people of Khayelitsha, Blue Downs in particular, and Sub-Council 10 City of Cape Town employees, as it brought a sad reminder that one of their own, Mamuphumla Maluweke, on the 26th of July 2024, in this sub-council, which is affectionately known as Khayelitsha Training Center, and has still to date never returned home, leaving her daughter behind and her loved ones. The devastating part of this incident is the reaction of the city by terminating her services as if she has absconded from work under the normal circumstances. The insensitivity of the supposedly caring city didn't just subject the family to vulnerability, but rather it has worsened their situation by expressing their racist attitude that a missing black life can be erased from employment payroll and leaving their family in additional financial distress. If Mampumla was white, surely a financial reward would have been issued by the city with millions of taxpayers.
Councillors,
Trying to find
councillors,
we would like to find out from you, as we have seen and as we have witnessed from the Jocelyn Smith case, that the City of Cape Town contingent dispatched to Saldanha investigators, K9 units and watercraft unit members and drones. And unfortunately, in this case of Mamuphumla Maluweke, who was an employee, by the way, of the City of Cape Town, it has never happened. It has been a year, Mr. Mayor, a full year, and nothing has happened. And we would like you to take this House into confidence that on that particular day, were the CCTV cameras operational, and if they were, what was the radius of these CCTV cameras?
thank you.
And also,
Your time is up. Thank you. Councillor Mkungwana. Councillors, please. Councillor. Councillor. There's somebody on the floor. Councillor Makangwana.
Thank you.
Speaker, point of order.
Aye, Banzi. Aye. So unnecessary.
Councillor Mokongwana, do you want to
Speaker, how can we
please ask
continue?
your question? We are not going to adjourn the meeting because of the circus. Thank you.
Speaker, how can
Speaker?
Aye.
The EFF will please all leave the council chamber.
Speaker, your security has lifted them. Your security. Now you're telling them.
Well, they are not allowed to obstruct the security.
The speaker.
That looks pretty much.
That's the yellow card.
Mr. Mayor, your security needs some more training. Take them out one at a... Goodness sake.
Councillor Bengi, the meeting is not adjourned. Get back into your seat. Get back into your seat. Councillor Bengi, I'm naming you for the second time. No other councillor has the right to get out of their chair. They are waiting to make way for the... Councillors, I'm warning you not to interfere with the security. If you interfere with the security, you will be charged.
Madam Speaker, let us proceed, but with the meeting.
Councillor, do you think you could ask your question with sufficient volume to override the noise?
I think, Speaker, I think it is up to the House to first bring the order to the House before I can speak.
All right.
Speaker, point of order.
Councillor Savant.
Yes, thank you, Speaker, for allowing me. Can I not ask that these security of yours remove them one by one, please? It just makes sense. You can't get everybody out at the same time.
Thank you for that advice. I just want to remind you they're not my security, they're the city manager's security. But the point is taken. We are going to adjourn for 10 minutes.
Apartheid mentality. Mas we get
It's
Councillors, stop interfering with the security guards because you will be charged with assault. You will be charged with assault and you will also be removed. I would suggest you walk away gracefully and allow the security to proceed with their work. You are interfering with them doing their job. Councillor Tandela. Councillor Tandela, get your councillors to move away. Help yourself. Councillors, the ANC got caught in the upstairs, downstairs thing, so we're giving them an extra 5 minutes. So, Councillor, you need to do your steps. We were just giving you an opportunity to get some steps in.
All making vitality points now.
Under the circumstances, there is anyone that is working. So what is the other work? Even in other work. That one is
Councillors, can I ask that you please re-register? Don't care if you hear or not. Did you take the... Okay, councillors, we are correct. We're going to continue in a dignified fashion going forward, and it's Councillor Mukungwana's opportunity to ask his question. Councillor Anstey, I'm naming you for the first time.
Thank you, Speaker. I take note of the fact that, Mr. Mayor, the Safety and Security Directorate has been given the biggest award. And this financial year, also one of the directorates that have been given the largest budget. But let me remind you, Mayor, 11 stations in the Western Cape are featuring in the top 30 nationally in terms of matters. And 7 of those are in our townships. There was an agreement signed by the 3 spheres of government in September last year. It is shocking to see that crime matter is still going up in our areas. I want to ask you this question, Mayor. Of the 7 stations that are within our townships, does the administration have a short-term, mid-term, and a long-term strategy to address the matters in our townships? Because that is crippling the investment coming to Cape Town. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final question is from the Freedom Front Plus.
Mr. Mayor, the Freedom Front Plus welcomes the deployment of Metro Police across all wards in the city of Cape Town. However, we are concerned by repeated threats to publicly name and shame political parties that did not vote in support of the budget that was anyway rejected by the vast majority of ratepayers in the city of Cape Town.
Councillors, please. Councillors.
Mr. Mayor, can you justify these threats by the aldermen when this deployment will be imposing significant financial burdens on ratepayers to supplement national government's failure in providing adequate policing resources to the city? And I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You may now answer all the questions.
Madam Speaker, since I don't think I'm under any obligation to answer the EFF's questions since they're not here to hear the answer, so I'm happy to take another one if there is one.
That would upset my program. So can you then just answer the ones that you choose to answer?
Okay.
Which better be
All
the
right.
others.
Well, Madam Speaker, I think before I start, I must just say how sad it is that the decorum of our chamber has been so badly undermined by the shocking behavior that we've witnessed here from the EFF and their fellow travelers this morning. After such a lovely start with the children's choir, the decorum of our chamber is just totally undermined, and leaves a really nasty taste in the mouth. So I hope that they are properly disciplined by yourself, Madam Speaker, because that kind of behavior in our chamber cannot be allowed to happen. Let me deal with some of these questions. Councillor Mamkeli, on behalf of Good. Let me say, Councillor, that Councillor Badruddin releases a media statement every week. Is it weekly or monthly? Weekly, every week, detailing exactly where those pipe replacement projects are happening in that week. So the information is publicly available to you, Councillor. Is Councillor Mamkele here? There he is, yes. You're listening with anxiety. I'm sorry about that. You must take something for that. So Councillor Badruddin releases the list of where those projects are taking place every week, and all you need to do is go and read that. I can assure you that the huge majority of those pipe replacements are taking place in those areas that you've mentioned and other areas besides. But you must keep in mind, Councillor, that Cape Town has got 11,000 kilometers of sewer network, and we should be replacing 100 kilometers every year. And that the reason for that is quite simple. It's a mathematical reason. If you're replacing 1% of your network each year, then it stands to reason that you will replace your entire city's network every 100 years. So we have not been doing that for a long time. And that means that we need to play a lot of catch-up. Previously, the city was replacing around 20 kilometers, maybe in some years 25 kilometers. So we've probably replaced over the last 3 years about maybe 3.5% of our network, which means that there's 96.5% of our network still to go. So the 117 kilometers is a great achievement, and that is what we could afford. We would love to, of course, make that 500 kilometers. Then we could really play catch up with what is needed out there in communities. But that would place a serious additional burden on our budget. So we are doing 100 kilometers every year, and we'll carry on doing that, and overperforming, as we've heard today. And I will ask, in case the emails are not coming your way, that Councillor Badruddin just checks that you are getting those emails with the list of where the projects are taking place. And I'm sure that it will be very easy for us to even do a map with, a kind of a picture, a graphic representation of where all those projects are, so that it makes it easier for you. Okay, Councillor Kai, from the question that it would have been perfectly suited to a written question. Not really an oral question, because obviously it's a case that I'm unfamiliar with, and I can't possibly confirm or deny the details that you have included in your question, because this is the first I've heard of the case. There are 34,000 employees in this organization. I do not know what action is being taken against any one of them at any one time. A very, very, very tiny number of those cases come to my attention. So it sounds from your question that this person, this former colleague of ours, passed away, and I'm very sorry to hear that. She did not pass away. Okay? I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. I just want to understand.
No, that has not been confirmed yet. She's still missing.
Oh, she's missing.
And,
Okay, I
the
understand.
city terminated her contract of employment.
I understand. Okay, well, I will ask for Alderman Ace, please, to get the details from you, the name of the employee, and we can give you a more detailed answer in writing, if that's okay. Then Councillor Makungwane, on policing. Yes. Councillor, it's true, 11 stations in the top 30 are in the Western Cape, 7 that you mentioned in the city. I must remind you that each of those stations in Cape Town has got a permanent deployment of LEAP officers day and night. And they are doing an excellent job in trying to do visible patrolling and policing on the streets of those areas. In many cases, they are the only officers doing visible policing. In many cases, you will find a station where there are 100 LEAP officers. Obviously, they're working in shifts, so I think it's 4 shifts. Is that right, Alderman? Is it 4 shifts or 3 shifts? 4 shifts, yeah.
It's always 4 shifts.
So 25 officers per shift, and sometimes they will be working alongside just one SAPS patrol vehicle that is patrolling on the streets of that community. So, in many ways, even though we are not primarily responsible, it is essentially a SAPS function, we are actually doing most of the policing in that area. And so the relationship is completely inverted. What it should be is that there's 100 or 200 SAPS officers patrolling in that area, and there is a top-up, a force multiplier from the city. In fact, it's the other way around, where we are doing the majority of the policing in those areas, even though we are not primarily responsible for doing so. But we do so because, as I always say, we have a choice. We can either say, well, this is not our problem, and throw up our hands and say, speak to national government. And that is an option. There's lots of other places that do that. But what would the results be if we did that? So we choose to do something. It might not be what all that is required, but we choose to do something. I would also like to know, and maybe we can find this out via the Alderman's office, what was the SAPS budget in this city for this year, and how much of it was spent? Because I suspect the 472 million rand that was spent by us on community policing, on safety and security, absolutely dwarfs the SAPS budget spent in this city over the last 12 months. So, and that we can find out. We will find out and let you know. But they are not investing in new vehicles, in new stations, in new chase vehicles, and so on. It is only us that is doing that. Then, Councillor Ugen, I must say that is called having your cake and eating it. You can't oppose the budget and then support one of the primary mechanisms in the budget to improve safety. One of the primary deliverables in the budget is to deliver these over 700 additional officers to the city. So I think it's absolutely right to name and shame you as someone who did not support that budget, but who now supports that deployment. That is called having your cake and eating it. And you cannot do that. So just to remind you, the main thrusts of this budget are infrastructure and safety. Infrastructure to make the city work better and to ensure that it continues to succeed and never crumbles and moves backwards like other cities. And safety for precisely the reasons that the councillor has just asked me about, to make the city safer for everyone. And for the first time ever, to deploy neighborhood safety officers to every single ward in the city. That is well worth supporting, and if you don't support it, you should at least own it and say you don't support all of those deployments for a safer and better Cape Town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We move on then to section 6 on the agenda, which is applications for leave of absence. Chief Whip.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Speaker, apologies for today as follows. Councillors David, Nkuchwana, August, Qantas, Jackson, Sieberts, Matutu, Arnold, Slow, Thompson, Kama, Njuza, Supaza, Mbungezi, and Councillor Ahmad Hendricks. On sick leave this morning, Councillor Nikilo, Rigby, Plaikis, De Beer, Asken, May, and Matanzima. Arriving early, and I'm sure the councillors have arrived already, will be Councillors Potts, Councillors Bengi, Jafter, and Lansdowne. Leaving early will be Councillors Ngubalanga, Alderman Andrews, and Councillor Petronella Hendricks. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Haynes. Any other leaves of absence that are not notified?
No, Speaker. It's just that if I heard the Chief Whip reading the name of Councillor Sopasi, he has arrived. It was going to be a bit late. But I've raised my hand on something else.
Okay. Can I just clear the leaves of absence first? Are there any other leaves of absence which we are not aware of? All right. Councillor Haynes, Mr. Mayor.
Can we just send our good wishes to Councillor De Beer, who is very unwell, and we really feel his absence today.
We'll do that. Thank you. Councillor Haynes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. The ANC has requested and was granted a caucus. We would like to report. We would want to request for a meeting of all party whips with yourself to quickly talk about what has happened and what we think should have been done better. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, can we hold that over till lunchtime because we're already running late, but we will meet at lunchtime. We're now adjourned.
But Speaker, we are going to proceed in a meeting where we feel uncomfortable in participating in, and we want to clear with you. I'm speaking to the Speaker.
Councillors,
One speaker here.
councillors. Councillor Haynes, we are running already. Appreciate that you wanted to caucus and we've had the caucus. Would you like to come and talk to me privately or would you like to go speak to the whip? But we do need to get the meeting moving. You're welcome to meet with the whips and raise your concerns and it will be relayed to me.
Okay, can I then change my request and agree that we meet as party whips quickly?
The party whips can meet. That's the whip's decision, but I'm happy to give you time to meet.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillors, I want to just run through the list of people present in the meeting so that we have it for record in terms of voting going forward. For the ANC, we have 34 with 9 absent. For the DA, we have 121. Is this the new registration, the latest registration? Godfrey? Yes, that's fine. Okay. So for ARA, we've got 2. For the ACDP, we have 5. For the AIC, we have 1. For Al Jamar, we have 2. For the CCC, we had 7, but they've gone. For Cape Exit, we've got 2. For the CMC, we have 1. For the DI, we have 1. Okay, we had 7 EFF, but they've also left. The Freedom Front Plus, we've got 4. For Good, we've got 8. For the PA, we've got 5. For the PAC, we have none. For the UDM, we have 1. And that gives us 201 councillors. Oh, councillor, you have come in now. You were there all the time. All right, we will correct that. Thank you. All right, so we'll move forward now and now, councillor.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't think I was going to be this busy.
And you got steps in.
One of our councillors now realized that she did not register when she came in this morning. It
So
might
we
not be counted into our numbers.
All right, so just, what is her name?
Kolisa Peter.
Peter. All right, we'll
If
check.
they can just check if she's in the list. If not, add that to the numbers.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we're moving on then to announcements. There are no further announcements other than, please, councillors, you all have rules of order. Please adhere to the decorum of the House. Official notices, Mr.
No official notices.
I bet you're glad about that. Okay. Section 6, the confirmation of the minutes. There are 4 sets of minutes for confirmation for the special ordinary meeting held on the 28th of May, 2025, and for the 2 special meetings held on the 26th of June, 2025. So on the first meeting, we start on page 6. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Can we move the minutes? Thank you. On page, Councillor Haynes.
In moving the minutes, Speaker, remember in the programming meeting, I spoke about the 2 councillors that
Yes.
was absent without an apology.
Yes.
We have spoken to the chief whip. We have
So that will be
corrected
corrected.
It must be corrected.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then the next one, page 21, for the ordinary minutes of the 28th of May. Can we move those minutes? Yes. Okay. Subject to the corrections of attendance which were brought to our attention. The next one is page 90 for the special budget meeting of the 26th of June. Can we approve, Councillor?
Councillor, Speaker, sorry. On page 93, on the list of acronyms, it says the ACDP is 5, but it's 6. Just the correction on the seating.
Okay, can you check that? All right, thank you very much. With that correction, can we move those minutes? Thank you. The last three on page 105, which is the special ordinary meeting of the 26th of June. Are there any corrections on those? Can we move those minutes? Approved, seconded, thank you very much. That takes care of the minutes. So now we move to the remainder of the agenda. and the whips have agreed the following items. In volume 2A, item 8, 11, 12, 13, and 14. In volume 2B, item 18, 21, 24, and 25. In volume 3, item 27, 28, 31 through to 33, and 35 through to 40. In volume 4, the items for noting, it was agreed item 47, 49 through to 51, 53, 55 to 57, and 59 to 67, and item 69. Are there any parties wishing to add a comment to the noting of those items or agreement to the items? No, then they will be Councillor Haynes.
Speaker, item C29, the ANC there has said that we are agreeing on the item. I just want to register. It's item C29. We just want to register that we don't agree with the item and want to register some concerns on it.
Okay.
For the record of
That's fine. Okay, thank you. That's for item 29 in volume 3. Okay, we'll note that. All right. So there are now 187 councillors present, and we will take that count for councillors present with the numbers on that I've read out in to indicate support for items going forward. Is that in order? Thank you. So we move to the remainder of the agenda, commencing with volume 2A, item 7, and the speakers list is. First speaker is Councillor Little.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what's being put before us today isn't just a flawed item, it's a legally questionable, morally unjust proposal that deeply betrays the people of Hanover Park. The land in question of 142870 was never earmarked for the benefit of Hanover Park. Let's not pretend otherwise. It was identified by the city to relocate unhoused residents from Observatory into a community that is already stretched to its limits, overcrowded, underdeveloped, and neglected. When Observatory residents rejected the city's offers, the city stayed silent, but the city went ahead and quietly installed underground infrastructure without any formal council approval. What is interesting is, how was this infrastructure laid before this item ever reached council? And how is it that the ward councillor claimed to know nothing when asked in sub-council? If the councillor was unaware, the community was unaware, who approved this? The usual appears on this report, but with whose approval? Speaker, the city claims public participation was followed. Yes, notices were published, but only in the Argus and the Burger. Papers most Hanover Park residents don't buy, don't read, and can't afford. The report claims there were no objection. That is false. Residents spoke to officials on site. Concerns were raised at public meetings. The city simply chose not to acknowledge them. That's not oversight. That's avoidance. We were dealing with here is a process that violation of Section 16 and 17 of the Municipal Systems Act, which demands real engagement. It violates 152 of the Constitution, which requires the city to encourage community involvement. And it violates the Promotion of Administrative Justice Act, which protects the people from unfair, hidden decisions like this one, decisions taken by a majority. Instead of lawful participation, the city followed an internal SOP, asked for council to rubber stamp a process that was flawed from the beginning. Speaker, Hanover Park is not a dumping ground. It is not the city's solution to resistance in wealthy areas, and it should never bear the cost of poor planning or even poorer consultation. This community housing for their children, their backyarders, their elders, but that cry continues to fall on deaf ears. Instead, they are handed silence, secrecy, and exclusion. The beneficiaries to this project must be the residents of Hanover Park. Anything less is unacceptable. We will be supporting the community to file a formal complaint under the Promotion of Administrative Justice Act, and we will ask for a full review of the decision taken today and will further request that the matter be referred to impact for investigation. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor van der Rede.
Thank you, Speaker. Morning, colleagues. Speaker, before I start my speech, the wrong plot, Councillor Little. The wrong piece of land you're talking about.
Councillors. Councillors.
Honorable Speaker, esteemed colleagues and members of the public, I rise today in strong support of this proposed close of R142870, located along Landsport Road and Hanover Park, which is near opposite the soccer field I played as a child. Next to the community center, I did my first tumble as a gymnast. So, Speaker, opposite the field where my mother still lives, Speaker. So I ask that we make this located along Landsport Road and Hanover Park will make way for a much needed low-cost housing development and the construction of top structures. As the elected representative of this community, I can attest to the immense and growing demand for formal housing within the Hanover Park area. Our population continues to grow, and with it, so does the number of families living in overcrowded conditions within our backyard dwellings, and which we, by the way, Speaker, are giving them toilets and electricity connections, or unsafe informal structures. The urgency for dignified, sustainable housing solutions has never been more pressing. This project is not just a development, it's a statement of intent. It says that the Hanover Park matters. It says that the people who have waited for decades will finally see movement, will finally see progress, and will finally see promises turn into tangible results. This proposed development forms a vital part of what I consider a legacy initiative. From the outset of my term, I have committed myself to fighting for housing opportunities for the people of Hanover Park. This is a step forward in that vision, a vision of restoring dignity, creating stability, and enabling families to thrive in a safe and secure environment. Speaker, housing is not only a basic human right, it's a foundation for community upliftment. And this development will go a long way forward to reshaping the social and economic landscape of Hanover Park. Speaker, I also want to say some of the parties within this council practices racial politics. And they would say that I'm what you describe as a colored person. But they will say to the coloreds that people of different color do not care about your well-being. I represent one vote within this council, Speaker. But I can guarantee you that the councillor from Claremont, the councillor from Bishop's Court, the councillor from Mitchell's Plain, and the councillor from Kailitsa will support me today to secure the budget and to rezone the land for this project. So people, this party that I belong to is diverse and cares about everyone within the city. And I want to say to the mayor, thank you for standing up to those that have a bit more than the have-nots. And even standing up, because if it wasn't for that, then the people of Hanover Park, Manenberg, and all those poorer communities will not be able to access housing and any opportunity within the city. So I thank you, Mayor, as a councillor for one of the poorest communities in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Little, you have a point of clarity?
I need a point of clarity, Madam Speaker, because I cannot let the councillor mislead the public, because the public is listening to this.
Ask the question.
The question is on page 5. The piece of land, maybe the councillor doesn't know where this piece of land is. We stood on this land while they were putting in the infrastructure. We don't know from which budget. This is the same piece of land. I need, Madam Speaker, please allow me. This piece of land is the same piece of land the residents from Observatory visited and rejected when hundreds of residents.
But what's your point of clarity?
The point of clarity is, does the councillor know where this development is taking place? And he must not mislead the public, because the residents of Hanover Park has been asking for this housing. I don't want to play politics with him, because clearly he doesn't know where this piece of land is.
Thank you. Councillor van der Rede, can you answer
Page
the question?
5, page 5.
Speaker, the infrastructure that was being laid, because Hanover Park, besides the challenges that we have with safety, we've also got a lot of water. And that is connected to the water infrastructure that is leading to Philippi, where there will be a plant that will...
Okay, so the answer is you know which piece of land it is?
Yes, Speaker, I've grown up, I've lived it for most of my life. I'm not confused. Thank you.
Councillor, thank you. We're going to move on to the recommendation on page... Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Is it possible to ask a question of clarity on a question of clarity? Because
Absolutely.
I just want to understand why, if the residents of Hanover Park have been calling for this housing, as the councillor says, she's just opposed the item.
Well, I think Councillor Little.
I'm quite capable of answering that. Because the piece of land identified was not for Hanover Park. The original idea is where the city sneaked in residents from other areas to alleviate the squatters on the main road in Observatory, and then they decided to dump them in Hanover Park.
Okay.
And the residents, no, I'm explaining, the mayor asked.
Yes.
The mayor asked.
But can I get a point of clarity? Is the land still in Hanover Park?
Well, according to the mayor and the ward councillor, they don't seem to know where it is.
Well, it can only be in one place.
It is, but it is not used for the purpose that the mayor and the council is stating. They are misleading the public.
I think we have a dispute about the land.
No,
usage,
I don't have a dispute.
No, that's fine, but we're going to vote on the recommendation on page 1. Those in favour of the recommendation, can they indicate? Thank you. Those against the recommendation. Goodies against the recommendation. The PA is against the recommendation. Is anybody else against the recommendation? Ara is against. Thank you. And can you just, I'm afraid I can't see which party are you? Al Jamal. Thank you very much. Okay. The recommendation is carried and we're going to move. Councillors, we are on a tight timeline and I've been asked by the acting city manager to move item 26A forward so that they can get the report written to Treasury today. So the item 26A is the approval of an urban waste management reform strategy. And I'm sorry to throw you, but the first speaker here is Councillor Jacobs. Councillor Haynes?
Speaker, on that note, I can't recall that we as councillors have been informed that we have an acting.
The mayor's there.
Sorry, acting MMC.
He's acting only because the MMC is off.
Whatever acting he is, but we have not been informed.
He's only acting here. But
yeah,
I think,
where is our municipal manager is the question that I have.
So he's off sick.
And that meeting, can we please
So when I asked the acting city manager earlier if there were any urgent items, and he didn't know about this one, clearly, then that's when I introduced him as the acting manager.
No, my issue is that as councillors, I speak for the ANC.
He's only acting here.
We do not know that we have an acting municipal manager and we've appointed one.
It will all be over when the Niels won't be acting anymore. He's only acting for here, this meeting.
Okay, he will stop acting after the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he might learn some lessons and then improve his acting. Thank you. Sorry. Can we go back to the first speaker, Councillor Jacobs? Which Jacobs is that? They're not speaking, so the next speaker is Councillor Kwaba. Councillor?
Afternoon, Speaker and Councillors. Okay. Afternoon, Speaker and Councillors. As the ANC, we support this National Treasury grant. We support it because the ANC is giving the city of Cape Town to do good for the people of the city.
Councillor Popham, I'm naming you for the first time.
ANC must set this cost of a Bungavanova. ANC, siyavumelana nale mali iziswa i-national government of the ANC. As EDA izokwazi ukwenza umsebenzi ongcono ukucoca kwindawo zabantu bakuthi. Ungabikho lento sihamba phansi kwayo ngoku. Ndiyavuma u-MMC ufumene i-certificate sokuthiwa kucocekile kwiingingqi zethu. Ngelo xesha kubonile. I hope that uzawucoca ngale mali siyinikiweyo yi-national government. Enkosi.
Thank you. Councillor Hanson. Councillor Hanson? Is she here? All right, the recommendation is on page, one of the volume. Can I move the recommendation? Those in favour? Yes. Thank you. Those against the recommendation? Everybody in favour?
Abstain.
Goods against?
No speaker abstain.
Abstaining, okay. Anybody else wishing to either vote against or abstain? Thank you. All right. We're going to move back to the agenda, and item 9 is next. And the first speaker on this item is Councillor Newman.
Speaker, on behalf of Good Party, I rise to register our unequivocal and principled objection to the city's recommendation to reject the National Treasury's Municipal Finance Management Act Circular 131. The circular is not optional. It's a binding safeguard against financial misconduct, irregular expenditure, and the misuse of public funds, disguised as donations or grants to external entities. What the executive proposes today is not just reckless, it's a calculated and disingenuous attempt to sidestep constitutional procurement laws in direct violation of Section 67 of the Municipal Finance Management Act. An external body providing a service constitutes procurement, not a grant. It must go through a fair, competitive, and transparent process. Anything less invites corruption and puts honest officials at risk. Speaker, this is more than just a flawed process. It's about unchecked power. Under the mayor's leadership, the city has become increasingly pusillanimous in facing transparency, relying on in-committee decisions shielded from public scrutiny. Branding compliance as red tape is disingenuous. It conceals a kleptocratic agenda diverting public funds to politically aligned interests. The Jive Comedy Festival comes to mind. Has the executive forgotten that it forms part of National Treasury under the GNU? This is not good governance. It's a statement of intent to build a shadow state. The number of in-committee meetings is on the increase, not decreasing. Thus, in the best-run city in the world, the Good Party will not support this betrayal. We urge the council to reject this with contempt. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Picardi.
Thank you, Speaker. Allow me first to offer my condolences to Lolita Kowa, a 7-year-old girl who was brutally murdered in Khayelitsha, Guyasa. Inhliziyo zethu zililane ekhaya lakwaKhowa, and may justice prevail. On behalf of the ANC, I rise today with deep concern and principled conviction to respond to the Mayor's rejection of National Treasury's MFMA Circular 131, a circular aimed at restoring transparency, accountability, and constitutional compliance in how municipalities transfer funds to organizations and bodies outside government. Let us be absolutely clear. The intention of Circular 131 is not to paralyze local governments, nor it is an attack on genuine NGOs serving our communities. It is a response to a widespread misuse of Section 67 of the MFMA, misuse that has enabled the channeling of public funds into politically convenient pockets, bypassing legal procurement processes. The DA claims that this circular presents significant challenges and threatens the continuation of sports sponsorship and events that drive local economic development. But this is not a defense of the poor or grassroots development. It is a defense of a shadow financing model where politically connected NGOs become the intermediaries for unaccounted municipal spending. In effect, Circular 131 exposes the DA's back door, a door through which public money leaves the municipality and enters the political bloodstream of their party machinery. We must ask, Speaker, why does a party that claims to uphold the rule of law restrict clearer, stricter compliance with the Constitution specifically Section 217, which governs public procurement. Why is a party that proclaims clean governance so afraid of audit trials, financial statements, and transparent budgetary processes? Speaker, the truth is becoming harder to hide. The city has mastered the art of using friendly NGOs, some with dubious track records, to perform municipal functions without going through public tender processes. These organizations, while claiming to serve communities, often double as DA-aligned structures, reinforcing patronage networks under the guise of development work. The circular is clear, Speaker and Councillor Mbandezi. If a municipality receives goods or services in return, that is procurement, and procurement must follow the law. You cannot give a contract to an organization simply because it wears a blue t-shirt or sings your praises during election season. That is not development. It is manipulation, and we are putting an end to that manipulation. Furthermore, the circular does not prohibit support of sports, community events, or cultural programs. It demands such support be fair, open, cost-effective, and accountable. It demands that if you claim to empower the people, you must do so in ways that empower all the people, not just those who attend your fundraising dinners. The DA's rejection of Circular 131 is not about legality, Speaker. It is about losing control over a funding pipeline they've grown too comfortable at exploiting. As councillors elected to serve all our people here, not a party, not a few, we support the efforts by National Treasury to tighten compliance and prevent irregular expenditure.
Thank you.
Support, Speaker.
Councillor, your time is up. Your time is up. Thank you, Councillor Mbandezi. Councillor Haynes, can I ask you to please speak to Councillor Nokombolo and ask him to refrain from interjecting permanently?
Councillor Nokombolo. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the item before us recommends that the National Treasury Circular 131 be not adopted by this Council, and we agree with that recommendation, Madam Speaker. Since the implementation of the MFMA, National Treasury has issued numerous circulars providing municipalities with practical guidance in financial management and governance-related issues. And in some instances, Treasury would undertake a comprehensive stakeholder consultation and attempt to get the views of the municipalities rather. Unfortunately, in this instance, there was no consultation. Instead, a circular that would have dire consequences to many of the City of Cape Town progressive partners should be adopted. In its current form, it will severely impact the ability to provide financial support for various sponsorship and annual sports events that contribute to the Cape economic growth and social development. Madam Speaker, we have decades-long partnership with a number of stakeholders in economic growth and investment front, and those brings, connects, links, and create numerous work opportunities for the people of Cape Town, in particular, young people. These partners have helped in seeing the city breaking records of new job opportunities, which is the foundation, by the way, of human dignity and ability for someone to find a job or work. We have seen numerous investment that has been made to the city through these partners, which we fund to bring investment that brings jobs, alleviate poverty in many, many homes. This not only take that away, but will also take opportunities that are so needed away. We cannot agree on that. Madam Speaker, the City of Cape Town continuously and consciously seek to be global competitive city, hence Cape Town Tourism, which we fund to provide world-class tourism marketing and destination management services. Because tourism brings much needed job in the city. This circular would stop that. We cannot agree. Madam Speaker, there are other equally important partners of the city that will be impacted negatively by this circular if we were to adopt it, such as events, such as arts and culture, such as climate change and environment initiative. Therefore, Madam Speaker, our good governance is known throughout the country. Our good governance is known throughout the country. We're the only metro that received clean audits year in, year out. So we have, as Navarro in other ways, we are not ashamed, but
clean audits are not equivalent to service delivery.
Impact on us. Therefore,
Councillor
we
Makwina,
cannot adopt. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we cannot adopt this circular, and therefore move the recommendations on page 56. I thank you.
Thank you. The recommendations are on page 56. Those in favour of the recommendations? Those against the recommendations? Good. ANC, PA. UDM.
Abstain.
You abstaining, sir. Thank you. And Al Jamar. Thank you. Are you against? Okay. Thank you. The recommendation is carried. We move on to item 10. The first speaker here is Councillor Gungi.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings, Speaker, Mayor, Councillors, and esteemed members of the public. We to the families who have lost loved ones during these challenging times, and we're in support of alternative initiatives that must be developed to prevent fires and mitigate the flooding in the informal settlements. To those affected by these natural disasters each year, and to those women who are victimized by unscrupulous property owners at Summer Greens who build without plans and illegally draw water from other property owners of Summer Greens, we stand with this law. Today, we bring forth an important item that our party, the ANC, has consistently advocated within the portfolio committee meetings, namely the urgent need for increased funding and research into innovative water programs and sanitation solutions. We truly believe that significant attention is required to address the inadequate water, sanitation, and sewerage systems alongside the numerous challenges we face in our communities. We call for increase in sanitation technology projects to confront the issue with failing water and sanitation sewer pipelines and pump stations, particularly in vulnerable areas such as Guguletu, Khayelitsha, Philippi, Crossroads, Joslovo Park, Danone, Milnerton, Wetsand, Mitchells Plain, Bondeville, Mannenberg, Langa, Kraaifontein, Hout Bay, Imizamo Yethu, and beyond. These issues are not confined solely to informal settlements, but extend into areas designated by the City of Cape Town as sandy regions with informal housing. It is crucial that the City of Cape Town develops more partnerships with the Partnership Office, a project initiated by our national government in 2023. This initiative is mandated to implement a national water program in collaboration with the Development Bank. We are pleased that the city is bringing this proposal to secure approval from the Water and Sanitation Directorate to enter into a Memorandum of Agreement, MOA, with the WPO, enabling the transfer of a portion of the city's Gate Foundation grant funding for an independent evaluation of the pilot phase, as well as business case for scaling up the alternative innovative sanitation technology project. This initiative represents a collaboration between the City of Cape Town and the Water Research Commission, but also with the ongoing support from the national government. It recalls previous efforts that were halted when the DA took over leadership in 2006, stalling the promising project initiated. We must revive and champion innovative initiatives that can solve persistent issues. The innovative systems we propose will not require connections to existing sewer pipelines or centralized wastewater treatment works, addressing urgent challenges that have not been overcome under the current government.
Thank you.
Recommend the
Time's up.
of letting the ANC.
Thank you. Councillor Nelson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we often hear in these chambers the repeated lie that this DA-led government is an anti-poor government. Often members on the opposition benches will spew verbal vomit and mislead the public about our actions to ensure that every person, regardless of their age, their race, or address, receives the basic services they are entitled to, not because they live in Cape Town, but because they are human. I want to therefore take the next few minutes to showcase to this council and the residents of Cape Town exactly why the item before us is yet another indication that Cape Town is the #1 city in South Africa, and why the DA is the only party able to deliver services for all.
It
The
shows
item
my
before
name
us
up there,
today is
Speaker.
asking
That's
council
misleading to the public.
authorize the Executive Director of Water and Sanitation to sign a memorandum of agreement.
I am not a DA
with the
councillor. I chose my
Partnership Office
Continue,
and to
Councillor
transfer
Nelson.
up to 2.5 million rand from the city's Gates Foundation grant. So
Speaker, that's
an external
misleading to the
entity
public.
Can evaluate.
Councillor, I'm naming you for the first time.
But it shows my name and someone else is speaking.
Maybe it's because I stand like
Don't worry about that. Not-
But people on YouTube are gonna think it's me.
Stop pressing your mic. If you don't press your mic, it won't happen. Councillor Nelson.
May I continue, Speaker? May I continue? Thank you. So it's asking Council to authorize the Executive Director of the Water and Sanitation portfolio to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Water Partnership Office and to transfer up to 2.5 million rand from this Gates Foundation grant so that an external entity can evaluate the pilot phase and craft the business case for the scaling of the alternative sanitation technology project. So why is this item so important? Well, firstly, these toilets operate without tying into the bulk sewers or wastewater works, which means that they can be placed in areas where pipes cannot reach or where slopes, ground conditions, or road access block conventional sewers. This is essentially the case for most of Cape Town's informal settlements. Secondly, the pilot was precisely designed for very dense settlements where space and population overwhelm bucket or chemical solution. And lastly, this project's goal is not a once-off installation. The pilot is testing whether these technologies can be scaled across many informal settlements in Cape Town. I therefore understand why Councillor Bunkwe supports it fully. The truth of the matter is, Cape Town is leading the way with bringing basic services to residents regardless of the color of their skin or the address they have. This is not because we can, but because we want to. What this item shows clearly is that Cape Town is pioneering dignified climate resilient sanitation for informal settlements. We're doing so by co-designing with our communities so that they can own the investment. We are transparent in the process because that is what our partners invest in. And while Paul Masmatile is welcome to live in our beautiful city, his house in Constantia alone could fund 8 of these projects. In the end, the residents of Macassar and Sandvute knows that they are able to have access to these services because of the DA. We won't stop there. We will scale this project if necessary to every...
I was saying Paul Mashatile is not allowed.
Not because it's cheap or easy, but because Cape Town is governed
Councillor
by
Gardini, I'm
the
naming
DA.
you for the first time.
And in 2040, when the ANC has been reduced to a single branch hanging on to dear life, there'll be one question on the autopsy report. Who did it? The DA. Madam Speaker, I move the item with recommendations.
Thank you, Councillor. We have a recommendation on page 75. Do you have a point of clarity? What's your point of clarity?
My point of clarity, Madam Speaker, is to the member, is he saying that Paul Mashatile is not allowed to live in Constantine?
No, that's not part of the question. Thank you. Thank you. We have a recommendation on page 75. Those in favor of the recommendation? Thank you. Anyone against the recommendation?
Abstain.
Abstain. Goods abstaining. Anybody else want to abstain or vote against? Thank you. The recommendation is carried. We then move on to the next item, which is item 15, and the first speaker on that item is Councillor Palm.
Speaker, this speech is dedicated to the working class e-hailing drivers who are extorted on a daily basis by the city's regime of fines and impoundments, its highway robbery. Speaker, today I saw a black man being choked out here in this house. I saw big men touching manhandle women. You, Speaker, through your incompetence and lack of command of this House, has brought on a George Floyd moment. The life of the City of Cape Town Council was risked today on your watch, and I saw the Democratic Alliance applaud. That's who they are. Remember, white supremacy covers all races, cultures, and creeds. Today, as the Good Party, we object to the approval of this revised operating license plan for 2020 to 2028. While more opportunity for drivers is welcome, I think that it's just a way to broaden the pool of victims from whom the city can extort their hard-earned money. Ask any Uber driver who has to drop off riders at the airport, the waterfront, and the cable car. Ask who they met with. Ask who they were extorted by, fined, impounded, deprived of a living. This plan violates multiple provisions of the NLTA by assuming authority at rest with the provincial regulatory entity. The city is positioning itself as planner and regulator, a direct conflict of roles that is neither lawful or democratic. We're also concerned about the potential conflict of interest between consultants serving on the IBC. There are insiders who may benefit from existing networks. Secondly, the plan fails the test of public consultation, which is not just a guideline, but a legal requirement under the Municipal Systems Act. What is before us suggests no real engagement took place with the minibus taxi associations or communities, particularly in underserved areas that rely on these services. Speaker, the LP is built on a foundation of exclusion, executive overreach, and adversarial politics. It reflects the very culture we witnessed during the 2023 strike, one of control without consultation and order without justice. I call on this council to reject the item.
Thank you, Councillor Manuel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am not even going to respond to what Councillor Palmer said because a lot of what is raised is answered in the first few pages of the report. We do not attempt to assume the PRE authority, and it will say repeatedly that nobody is above the law. I do want to take this opportunity, though, Madam Speaker, to commend Santaco for their actions 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure how many of us are aware that a fellow motorist was stabbed several times in Maitland after he confronted a taxi driver for dangerous driving behavior. When Santaco found out about this, they immediately undertook an investigation to identify the owner of the driver, instructed their member to report to the police on the 11th of July, and in addition, they banned that driver from ever driving a taxi in South Africa again. They also reported that to state law enforcement because, Councillor Palm, they know that the city is their partner. Santaco has taken a stand against violence that plagues the minibus taxi industry and that in other provinces has already spilled over. We see it in the e-hailing industry in Johannesburg. We all know that you cannot take an Uber from Gautrain without being threatened. But Madam Speaker, these are not once-off occurrences in Cape Town. Just last week, we saw a taxi driver boldly refusing to stop after an instruction from a city traffic officer, and worse, doing so while driving with a vehicle full of passengers. The driver was ultimately arrested, as would happen to any motorist that evades the law. Santaco made the right decision, and this council must commend them for it. But furthermore, Madam Speaker, as the chairperson of urban mobility in our city, I call on all members of the public, all public transport passengers, and all fellow motorists to take a stand against these instances of bad driver behavior and any violence on our road. The law is on our side, and in Cape Town we must be different. We must not allow bad driver behavior and violence to persist. We must not allow any of it to spill over from one sector to another. The entire point, Councillor Palm, of the OLP is for the city to create an environment for safe public transport. In a city like ours, public transport is our only hope for solving congestion, so it must be safe. The OLP sets very clear licensing conditions which all operators are held to, which are underpinned by safety for public transport operators, safety on our roads, safety for the passengers, and respect for other road users. It is clear that Santaco will act against their members who do not abide by these principles, and we already know that our Safety and Security Directorate does not show any fear or favour in executing their duties. I sincerely hope that every member of this council will vote in favour of this item. It is simply to bring the OLP in line with the new Western Cape government notices, because a vote against this is a vote for violence. It is a vote in opposition, for the safety of passengers and fellow road users, and it is a vote against, and a vote against is a vote for continuing to have congestion plague our city. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The recommendation is on page 238. Those in favour of the recommendation? Yes. Thank you. Is anyone against the recommendation? Good parties against. Thank you. Okay, and the PA is against. Thank you very much. We're moving on to item 16. The first speaker here is Councillor Janssen van Vuren.
Good afternoon, members of council and speaker. Mr. Mayor, while the item before us today has its own purpose, it is crucial we also address the significant public interest surrounding the by now affectionately known among city officials and the involved community infamous Earth 1117 in Blauberg. The Freedom Front Plus supports the current item, but we must stress the importance of considering Earth 1117's future, both now and long term. This piece of land and its future has clearly resonated with the Blauberg and surrounding community. Although the comments received in the public participation process does not speak directly to the item before us, the City of Cape Town in this specific item received 460 out of 600 comments regarding Earth 1117 during this process. This isn't just a number, Speaker, it represents hundreds of voices, concerns and hopes from our citizens and is a testament to public investment in how this land is managed. Therefore, we urge that this significant public input be acknowledged as such. Should the city ever develop Earth 1117, these 460 comments and concerns of the community should be the guiding principle. The decisions of this council have to keep reflecting compassion for our people, a commitment to transparent governance, community engagement, and responsible urban development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Gabuza.
Good afternoon, Speaker and councillors. I would like to start by saying in this item, comments from the public be sufficiently considered, especially those that are according to the scope of the policy. This is a formal review and update of the bioregional plan. The proposed policy name change to the Cape Town Biodiversity Spatial Plan is not contested at all by various reasons. This policy is to inform and guide spatial planning, environmental assessment, and natural resources management by a wide range of sectors whose policies and decisions impact biodiversity. It also provides a framework for all city line departments to align their environmental responsibilities. Some of the environmental sensitive sites have been invaded during the time of COVID-19 2020. We would like those sites to be conserved by the city, meaning the relocation of those people who invaded those sites and land must be identified. Those sites that were invaded during COVID 2020, we need it back for the betterment of our people, because our people were living in shacks, squalid camp for a period of time. This is bad and ridiculous. Thank you very much, Speaker. Sabule.
Thank you, Councillor Franklin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you for allowing hardworking councillors who are paid to pass these kinds of policies to actually do their work. With regards to item C16, as a member of the Spatial Environment Portfolio Committee, and on behalf of my colleagues, it's a great honour to speak to this item, mainly approval of the
Councillor, can I ask you just to use Cicelo's mic because yours is scratching, and turn yours off? Thank you. It seems that the system is not working either.
Is it still scratching? Yes. Perfect. There we go. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, as a member of the Spatial...
Okay, continue. You must
Thank
be really
you.
quiet.
Thank you. As a member of the Spatial Planning and Environment Portfolio Committee, on behalf of my colleagues, it's a great honor to speak to this item, namely approval of the City of Cape Town's Biodiversity Spatial Plan 2025. The Cape Town Biodiversity Spatial Plan replaces the Bioregional Plan that was originally adopted as council policy in July 2015 and was urgently due for a revisit. It is imperative that this updated plan is adopted so as to inform and guide planning, environmental assessment, and national resource management in order to reduce conflict between environmental and other sectors, something this House would do well to remember. This will be done by providing updated priorities that will guide protected area expansion in the most biodiverse city in the world. The plan before us today covers all land in the municipal area and spatially identifies the minimum network of biodiversity priority areas, including protected areas, conservation areas, critical biodiversity areas, and ecologically support areas as needed to meet and potentially exceed national biodiversity targets. As one of my colleagues has pointed out, during the public participation process, which ran from the 13th of February 2025 to the 12th of March 2025, a total of 591 comments were received from a variety of sources, including line departments from the City of Cape Town, Cape Nature, Western Cape DP, SALGA, and interestingly, international interest and comments with support from cities in Colombia, Brazil, and France. It is correct that 17 CBOs submitted comments as well. Unfortunately, only 130 were relevant to the revised policy, and none were substantive to the core of the updated plan. Where respondents suggested, or in some cases demanded, changes, the Biodiversity Management Branch addressed these, as indicated in the comment and response spreadsheet seen in Annexure B, Councillor Janssen van Vuren, and have moved the concerns expressed to the correct directorates. To be clear, the intention of the Cape Town Biodiversity Spatial Plan is to reduce conflict between environmental and other sectors and to facilitate the ongoing work done by the City of Cape Town in a significantly increasing environmental project and program. This plan will be coordinated with the updating of the city's spatial planning documents, the IDB, the MSDF, and DSDFs to ensure integration and mainstreaming of biodiversity in the City of Cape Town spatial planning. And I'm relying on us all, plus our administration, to ensure this is aligned and action. Failure to do so will have long-lasting and dire consequences of biodiversity into the future, plus negate an integrated, cost-effective and sustainable approach to environmental management and conservation in the bioregion. It is therefore beholden upon us all seated in this chamber to ensure conservation of our natural assets, with the alternatives being too ghastly to contemplate. I therefore ask, Scratchy and all, for support and recommend the Cape Town Biodiversity Spatial Plan 2025 as contained in Annexure C to Council for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you for that. The recommendations are page 502. Can we move the recommendation? Are we all in favor of the recommendation? No one wants to vote against or abstain? Thank you, it's unanimous. We move on then to item 17, agreed. Then we move on to item 19, Councillor Harris, would you like to move adoption?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I would like to give my speech. Thank you.
All right.
Good news story. Good day, colleagues. We are a council that strives to provide opportunities for our residents. We are also a council that believes in the development of young people. There is no better platform coming our way than the One Young World Summit. The One Young World Summit is an annual gathering that brings together over 2,000 young leaders from more than 190 countries, offering young youth a unique opportunity to engage, network, and be inspired. Cape Town has been chosen to host the 2026 edition of the summit, only the second time the event will be held on African soil. Hosting the summit will bring several benefits to Cape Town, including economic impact, global exposure, events and partnership opportunities, and lasting youth development. The summit draws thousands of delegates, media professionals, and corporate partners from across the globe. The more than 2,000 attendees are expected to spend 4 to 5 nights in our city, contributing to the local economy through tourism, hospitality, transport, and other related industries. Montreal, Canada, which hosted the most recent edition of the summit, reported a direct economic impact of approximately 5.5 million Canadian dollars, around 60 million rand, with an additional 78 million rand in direct benefits. The event stimulates local business activities and creates temporary job opportunities. It attracts global businesses, NGOs, and government agencies, opening doors for partnership, social innovation, and long-term investment alignment with our development priorities, especially in the areas like sustainability, entrepreneurship, and social justice. Hosting Cape Town as a progressive, globally minded hub for leadership, innovation, and youth empowerment. It will place Cape Town in the global spotlight, showcasing our culture, infrastructure, and capacity to host world-class events. The summit received coverage from leading international media such as CNN, Al Jazeera, and BBC Worldwide, providing the city with a platform to project a vibrant global image and reinforce its stature as a premier destination for business and major events. With that said, colleagues, Speaker, I move that Council adopt this report and approve the Events Department to enter into an agreement for the city to support the hosting of the summit in November 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a recommendation on page 133. Those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Are there any against the recommendation?
Abstain, Speaker.
Good will abstain. Anybody else wishing to vote against or abstain? Thank you. The recommendation is carried. We move on to item 20, and the first speaker is Councillor Deniso.
Yeah, good afternoon, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Madam Speaker, this item is about seeking approval and repair of human resources policy as part of the policy review project. As the ANC, we received the recommendation to propose changes to the following policies, namely recruitment and selection, labor broker utilization, learning and development, relocation assistance, and special leave. As the pro-worker organization, this council chamber, we cannot sign a blank check at the expense of city employees, as these human resource policies will affect more than 20,000 city officials who are the driving force behind service delivery. After consulting with organized labor unions in the city of Cape Town, in particular the biggest union in the local transport sector, which is South African National Workers Union, SAMO, Madam Speaker, I would like to make the following submission on these policies before we can decide of supporting or rejecting the recommendation of approving or repealing these HR policies. On labor broker utilization, Madam Speaker, we submit the following. Under Clause 5 of the proposed policy, the absence of Employment Equity Act of 1998 is a concern to us as the ANC. We would therefore appreciate if the city can clarify reason to exclude this binding act. 2, in the selection or interviews under labor broker, we believe there ought to be a mechanism to keep the unions informed, to be invited as it happens in other recruitment processes where they observe. This will eradicate what is currently happening, Madam Speaker, where the DA-led government is employing their friends, family members, including their girlfriends, as a human culture on page. On learning and development policy, we would like to make the following, Mr. Speaker. A clear statement or clause in the amendment wherein a matric and readiness program will be followed by a clear direction in obtaining a matric. This, Mr. Speaker, will increase the number of workers from urban waste management, water and sanitation, parks, education department to obtain their matric certificate. We will also, Mr. Speaker, appreciate a clarity on this policy on the N2F level versus matric, so that city employees are clear when there are employment opportunities. On recruitment, Mr. Speaker, we would like to submit the following: to provide clear guidelines for making appointment to city staff establishment, integrate recruitment and selection with other human resources management system and procedures, to give effect to Section 20 of Employment Act Equity. Also, Mr. Speaker, to involve unions in recruitment and selection processes from the initial phase where a post is created. Not only involve unions, Mr. Speaker, to observe during interviews as if they are the city of Cape Town watchdogs. We must involve them in all phases from recruitment selection processes. Madam Speaker, we also want to submit the following, that all funded vacancy posts should be filled within 6-month period, so that the number of unfunded posts in the state of Cape Town should decrease, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
In
You need to
conclusion,
send that
we support the recommendation with the above submission, which we strongly believe it will change the fee policy.
Councillor, you need to submit your amendment. It must be in writing. Well, you can't. Okay, that's fine. Councillor Kwada. Councillor Sandeka.
Thank you, Speaker, and good afternoon, colleagues. As part of the City of Cape Town's commitment to a well-run city and a capable, responsive administration, today we table the recommendations arising from the HR Policy Review Project under the Corporate Services portfolio. This project forms a critical part of our efforts to professionalize the city's administration in line with the priorities outlined in the IDP. Specifically, the goal of enhancing organizational efficiency, governance, and service delivery. We are seeking Council's approval on revised HR policies that reflect updated legislation, operational realities, and principles of good governance. We are also recommending the repeal of policies that are outdated, duplicated, or no longer aligned with the city's organizational framework. These policies updates will empower the city to attract, retain, upskill, and develop, as well as manage employees matters effectively in ensuring that we continue to serve our residents with professionalism and integrity. This work is a statement to our commitment to continuous improvement, compliance, and building a high-performing workforce in support of service excellence. It is for that reason that this morning we witnessed the mayor recognizing the portfolio directorate with a service delivery of 97.4%. Just to come to your comments, Councillor Deniso, I think this is not the first time this matter is coming to council. It was discussed in the portfolio. Perhaps those recommendations were supposed to register them there. With that have said, Speaker, I therefore move that this council adopts the recommendations as outlined in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a substantive motion. There's no amendment on the table. So those in favour of the substantive motion, recommendation on page 143. Thank you. Those against?
Abstain, Speaker.
Goods abstaining. All right. Thank you very much. The recommendation is carried. We move on to item 22. The first speaker there is Councillor Jacobson.
No more Spurburgers and hoo-ha's for me, but rather now it's about when are we going to start listening. Madam Speaker, in advance, the VF Plus supports this item, but not without concern. Are we really listening to the public? This item presented us asks us to approve a PPP in favour of Solomon Brothers' request for more urban space at Earth 174 Camps Bay. I mean, who would not support responsible development and economic growth? But we can't afford to waste the ratepayers' time with PPPs. I mean, did we listen to the public when we condemned the budget? No. What about the dumping of shelters in District 6? No. Dumping raw sewage in our bays? No, etc., etc. The best representation for the ratepayer are our ratepayer associations. Do you know when the Camps Bay Ratepayer Association received notification of this item? Yes, the 21st of July, 1 week ago. Unacceptable, probably intentional. The shenanigans that is happening in Camps Bay with building plans being approved is just outrageous and in many cases deemed to be illegal. I mean, anybody wondered why that eyesore 5-story hotel development next to Tiger's Milk has come to a standstill? Well, it never should have been approved in the first place because the city acknowledged after application had been launched that it was not compliant. But instead of the city asking the High Court to set aside the plans in accordance with the law, they simply asked the developer to submit amended versions. I smell a rat. In other words, the city was functus officio and acted beyond its powers in approving the amended plans. The High Court had already ruled the city cannot approve amended plans if the original was not compliant. This did not stop the city. I urge Ward Councillor Joel to stand with me, to stand for the ratepayers and ratepayer associations to ensure that the PPPs are honest and, importantly, that all building applications follow legal and due process. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As my colleague here says, that was quite entertaining. Thank you, Councillor Jacobson. But I caution you again that we don't seem to be reading the item, Madam Speaker. And I think on behalf of all my colleagues in Council, it would be refreshing to know that the opposition is also reading the item with understanding. The item before us is not just about a property disposal or redevelopment. It's about reinvesting in the social and intellectual capital of our communities. Through the proposed disposal, we unlock the potential to finally deliver a brand new, purpose-built library, a long overdue asset that will serve as a hub for learning, connectivity, and opportunity. This is not just a building, it's a bold statement investing in the minds of tomorrow. We have seen wonderful and iconic new libraries across the city, such as the state-of-the-art facility in Khayelitsha and the 3-story library centre in Danu. The opportunity here is additionally welcome, as the building of the library will not be at the burden of taxpayers, but rather the disposal of the property. This future library location would enable the completion and clustering of community facilities with the park space, recreational area, sports fields, and public parking all connected, which has been an appeal from the community, Councillor Jacobson. This is how we build residence for children and for families. We are not simply selling property, we are unlocking it, so the public benefit is multiplied. And all of this will be achieved without any break in the library services. And yet, instead of championing the vision, some would rather sit behind keyboards or social media and diminish the stature of this council with empty criticism and no constructive alternatives. Councillor Paul Jacobson has made a name not through action or engagement, but through online negativity and mistruths that adds no value to the very communities he erroneously claims to represent. Case in point, his detail on the hotel, which was totally incorrect, I might add. While he tweets, we build. While he posts, we plan. While he undermines, we uplift. While he TikToks, we deliver. While he Instagrams, we invest. Speaker, let us not allow populism and posturing to stand in the way of real progress. Let's move forward with public participation so we can fully engage with the community and all the ratepayers associations, with transparency and most importantly with vision. Let us give Camps Bay a library it can be proud of. I so move the item.
Thank you. The recommendation is on page 236. Those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Those against? Anyone want to abstain? No, we're all in favour. Thank you. That recommendation is carried. We move on to item 23, and the only speaker on this item is Councillor Julie Mkunasi.
Children are outside, their house is very quiet, that's good. Esisindululo sibonisa mhlophe ukuba isixeko seKapa siyayiqonda indima edlala zicawe ngokuthi kunikezelwe ngalomhlaba ERF 799 kwenye yenkonzo ezisesinethemba Road NY 74 eGugulethu inkonzo the Old Apostolic Church of South Africa. Uhulumende okhokhelwe yiDA uzohlala ethe gqolo ukuxhasa amaphulo nezidingo nenkonzo zabahlali. Sizoqhubha sisenza ngcono rhoqo sisebenzisana necawe zabahlali ngokubanzi kuba zibalulekile kakhulu icawe ekulungiseni izimilo zabantwana. Lanto ithi bagwetywa besebatsha.
Councillor Bengi, that's enough. Continue.
Ngonke ke somlomo ndiphakamisa ukwamkelwa kwesisindululo sikaphepha page 26 item C23/07/25 enkosi somlomo niyangcola nina yetsi.
The recommendations are page 260. Those in favour of the recommendation?
Speaker.
Councillor?
My point of clarity, Chair, on the pronunciation.
No, don't worry about that.
No.
Thank you for that. Those in favour of the recommendation? Those against the recommendation? Anyone want to abstain? All right, it's unanimous. Thank you. All right, we have item 26. Councillor Cupido.
Thank you, Speaker. The item before us presents serious concerns, not because it's administrative, but because it fundamentally shifts how power is exercised in this city and how little council is being told about it. We are being asked to approve changes to the city system of delegation and worse, to condone the worth of decisions taken under the outdoor advertising bylaw without knowing who took those decisions, where they apply, or whether they were even lawful. Let me be clear, this document is not safe. It refers vaguely to a previous item, CO80424, which is not even attached. And now we know why. Because the item deals with a proposed disposal of land in Somerset West. It has nothing to do with advertising, enforcement, or delegation of power. Using this item to justify a blanket ratification of unrelated decisions is misleading, procedurally flawed, and putting this entire recommendation on legally shaky ground. This is not just risky, it undermines the rule of law, the Promotion of Administrative Justice Act, and Section 160, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which reserves core decisions for this very council. More concerning is how this delegation these delegation changes, expands, and reinforce authority already sitting with the executive mayor and his mayoral committee, allowing them through sub-delegation to make critical decisions reporting back to council. This means decisions affecting our communities, from public advertising to development permissions, are being made without the oversight of the people elected to serve. We as council are being left behind while authority flows up, ability disappears. Speaker, we cannot approve what we have not seen. We cannot condone what we do not understand. We cannot ratify decisions taken under a system that bypasses the democratic checks this council is meant to uphold. As the Good Party, we suggest that this item be withdrawn until clarity around CO80424 is tabled, the full list of delegated decisions is presented, and a legal review confirms whether any of it was even lawful, inclusive of why the Sea Point precinct is getting special emphasis above areas like the Cape Flats where it's needed more. Speaker, we serve the people, not the system, and this is not how democracy is meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. If the councillor had fully read the item, you would see that most of the corrections are purely administrative corrections, purely changes to titles, correcting the headings of sections, and so on. The only the condemnation that it is offering is the incorrect or the failure to publish the delegations on the city's website when they were adopted last year. So it is not that council did not properly adopt those delegations. We did properly adopt the delegations. They were not properly published on the website. That was an oversight. And so we are simply condoning the decisions taken under those previously adopted delegations and correcting the publication thereof. It's really a fairly simple, straightforward administrative item.
Thank you. We have a recommendation on page 377. Clarity, yes?
No, thank you, Speaker. Just clarity on the mayor. Who was supposed to do the quality assurance if then you are, acceding that there was an administrative error? Somebody has to really take a responsibility in terms of that error, because all the decisions that were taken, they were taken on the basis of what you have just said. So who was supposed to be doing the quality assurance?
Mr. Mayor?
I'm really not sure, to be honest. I mean, ultimately, I must take responsibility for everything that goes wrong here. But I assume that it would have been someone in the city manager's office that would have needed to publish that on the website. But I'll ask the acting city manager there to just check exactly why it was not published on the website.
All right, thank you. We're moving on to the vote. Those in favour of the recommendation on page 377? Thank you. Anyone against or wanting to abstain? You against, Councillor? NC's against?
Against, Speaker.
PA against? Thank you. Ara, are you against? Thank you. El Jabbar? Against? All right, good. Are you against? Thank you. Anybody else? The Freedom Front Plus? Abstain. Thank you very much. All right, the recommendation is carried. Councillor, it's 1 o'clock and they have prepared tea, so we're going to adjourn. Councillor Kungwana?
The UDM abstains.
Abstains. And the PAC?
Okay, ACTP abstain.
ACDP also. Okay. Thank you. We will update the minutes. See, you also want to abstain? Exit also wants to abstain. Okay, that's fine. We've got all of those, I think. But we will adjourn now for 20 minutes for a cup of tea or coffee, and we should... I don't know. Compliance. Thank you, councillors. We're going to proceed. Okay. So, councillors, we're moving on to item 26B, authority to pay interest. The recommendations on page 53, and the first speaker here is Councillor Davids.
Good day, Speaker, colleagues, members of the public.
Councillors, please take your seats. Councillor Peter, come, please. It's only, it's not an interjection, it's just a lazy walk to the chair. Okay, Councillor Davids.
Thank you, Speaker. As the good party, we hereby register our vote against this item. Without delving too deeply into the merits of this item, it is crucial to highlight that Section 62 of the MFMA, which calls for effective financial management by the accounting officer and the implementation of internal controls. The late payment and resulting interest accrued is indicative of financial mismanagement, and ineffective internal controls. In this instance, the failure to implement these effective internal controls resulted in fruitless and wasteful expenditure, which never should be taken lightly. Council is now being asked to approve a payment without proper interrogation of what exactly went wrong and what caused the delay. As the recommendation states, this contract will be referred to impact, and then it will be referred to a task team where it is dealt with behind closed doors, and the residents of the City of Cape Town will not know why their money was misspent. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Nodliwa.
Good afternoon, Speaker and all councillors. The item in question deals with authority to pay interest in a contract tender for rehabilitation. The Executive Mayor praised the Council to authorize the payment of the interest and further requests that once the required unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and a wasteful process be followed, the fruitless and wasteless expenditure be reported to MPEC. As the ANC, we do not support the interest in CAD should have been saved and used to render services in our areas that are neglected by the DA administration. In all black townships, there are rivers of sewer with human feces out in the streets. The infrastructure is aging, there are bumpy, roughy roads. It is amongst that rationale that the ANC cannot allow taxpayers' money to be used to with poor performances and come to justify it with false pretenses of consequence management and senseless mitigating factors. The ANC distances itself from such activities and does not support this item. I thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Woodley, Alderman Woodley.
Good day, Madam Speaker. Good day, colleagues. Although the budget provision existed, there remains an onus on the Directorate to obtain formal approval via submissions to the Grants Office where the amounts are determined and confirmed by the Grant Funding Technical Review Committee. As indicated by other speakers, unfortunately, the administration have erred in this regard. We did not get the necessary authority, hence it had a constraint on our budget. And as a result of that, the payment for the invoices for October and November could not be made. But throughout this funding challenges, mainline civil engineering demonstrated commitment by continuing essential services and not exercising their right to suspend works under Clause 511.1 of the General Conditions of Contract 2015. During the development process, the Regulation Branch communicated transparently with the contractor regarding the challenges that we faced. The contractor showed understanding of the city's position while maintaining their contractual rights to claim interest on overdue payments. The interest payment represents the cost of maintaining contractual relationships and avoiding potential legal action that could result in higher costs to the city and further interest. The total project delivered essential infrastructure improvements that contribute to the city's water and sanitation sustainability objectives. The project was completed. What we have in front of us is to support paying the interest, and secondly, that this matter be referred to MPAC. I move the recommendation.
Thank you. The recommendations on page 53, all in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. We move on then to item 29.
We again, Speaker.
You're against. Sorry. Al-Jamar, good. Anybody else? PA, you're against. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We move on to item 29, and the first speaker here is Councillor Cannon.
Hi, Madam Speaker. It gives me pleasure to briefly speak on the item with reference to the city-owned land being Earth 2244 and a portion of 40, situated at Frans Conradi Drive, Para, also known as the Para Golf Course. Madam Speaker, this property is situated in a sporting hub of facilities within the Para precinct, which includes football fields, rugby fields, and athletic track, bowling greens, tennis courts, a netball court, as well as a swimming pool. These facilities host people coming from near and far to enjoy sport and recreation. Madam Speaker, this golf course has also become very popular since the closure of the King David golf course in Montana a few years ago. It is the most affordable 18-hole golf course for those who love the sport and do not have the income to play on a regular basis. Membership of the club allows for discount rates, which makes the course very popular throughout the week. It attracts golf lovers from all over the peninsula and is a popular venue for income-producing golf days for many institutions. Madam Speaker, the clubhouse facilities lends itself for further use for other events and activities. This brings forth the opportunity for the creation of employment. It is not only on the 51 hectares site where job opportunities are apparent, but also off the fields. Youth from the city Sparrow rental flats nearby were trained in assisting with the preparation of the golf courts used by the golf players. Madam Speaker, the lessee will maintain and secure the city property, which will relieve the city of the maintenance burden while generating a rental income. It also brings into the inner city, a parkland and public open space which will be enjoyed by those who use it. Madam Speaker, I hereby recommend that Council approve in principle the granting of the right of use control and or manage city-owned land by way of a lease over Earth 2244 and a portion of remainder Earth 2040 situated at Frans Conradi Drive, Parow to Parow Golf Club, subject to conditions as specified.
Thank you. Alderman Voss.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The ward councillor said it all, well spoken and spot on, because that's how you build a city that works for today and tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, we have a recommendation on page 114. We all in favour of the recommendation? Anyone against? Goods against?
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstaining, okay. Anybody else want to? Are you against?
Item 29, we've registered our concern this morning.
Same item,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. All right, thank you very much. Then the recommendation is carried. We move on to item 30, and the first speaker there is Councillor Duka.
Good day, Speaker. Good day, Speaker, and the House at large. Education is presented as a tool for personal growth, enabling individuals to acquire knowledge, develop critical thinking skill, and make informed decisions. It is empower individuals to pursue their dreams and contribution to the society. It is recognized as a catalyst for social change, promoting value, respect, and equality. Understanding it can address a social like poverty, inequality, and conflict. Education equips individuals to the skill and knowledge needed for the workforce, contribute to economic growth and prosperity. It fosters innovation and creates opportunity for better future. It is not solely for the responsibility of government or educators. It is required collaboration effort involve parents, communities, and businesses, civic societies, all individuals regardless of the background and circumstances. Our kids need have an access quality education. This includes various access to promote inclusivity in education. The great Nelson Mandela once said, I quote, the great Mandela once said, I quote, education is the key, is the weapon which we use to change the world. Let us work together to educate our nation, close quote. Speaker, this administrator of Democratic Alliance is continuously failing the working class. It misguided by the capitalist-oriented system, a system that continuously subjecting a black majority in this province. Speaker, I look at the mayor when he was addressing us this morning, he repeating one thing one and again. The mayor is running out of ideas. Speaker, as African National Congress, we are going to reclaim the political power back from this province so that we can be able to clean this province. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Kobeni. Councillor Kobeni. Councillors. Councillors. Is Councillor Kobeni here? All right, so we have a recommendation on page 213. Can we move the recommendation? Those in favour? Those against? Those abstaining? It's unanimous. Item 34, Councillor Christians, you want to move a recommendation?
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. Yes, I do. The item before us is well documented. It is just an unfortunate thing that the CCC is not in the House. Most assuredly, I
Just
move
speak to the item.
Yeah, I do speak. Most assuredly, I move the item for adoption and approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The recommendations on page 433, can we all agree with the recommendation? Anyone want to vote against or abstain? It's unanimous. Thank you. We move on to item 41, Councillor Fasaki.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the changes are captured in the report and there are no other changes to be read in. Thank you.
All right, can we move that recommendation? Thank you. Anyone against? No? Good. No? Okay. Item 42, and the first speaker here is Councillor Haynes. Councillor Haynes,
My time is running. Thank you very much, Speaker. Good afternoon to all colleagues, the media, and all residents on the YouTube platform. Speaker, allow me to add my voice to those celebrating the impressive performance of both Guillermo Mentor in Ward 109 Makassar and Gino Kibiru in Ward 84 Saloris Pass for bringing back gold after winning New Zealand in the World Championship under 20 after 13 years in Italy. This shows that indeed in our communities, this indeed shows that your community or your circumstances don't define you if you want to proceed in life. Back to the item. The South African Government Association called SALGA invited the City of Cape Town to nominate a councillor and municipal official to represent the City of Cape Town on each of the 14 provincial working committees as per the SALGA correspondence on April 2022. Council approved the nomination in May 2022 and later updated it in January 2025. In January this year, the ANC requested this matter to be referred back and deployment to these working committees be reconsidered. That was not granted, and hence other parties are still not granted an opportunity to constructively participate in these working committees. We again today are rejecting this recommendation on the basis of non-inclusivity of other opposition parties. Opposition parties continue to only serve as secundaries in these working committees and never get an opportunity to make meaningful impact in these meetings or learn from it. What is shocking with the DA's winner-take-all attitude is that out of these 14 working committees, only 2 opposition parties out of the 17 represented in this municipality are deployed to only 5 of the working committees out of 15. And the rest are all DA. Whether it's a full-time and a secondary DA councillor in 8 of 7 of them. What is also very glaring again is that most of these deploys to these structures is that they are there since 2021, and we have never received a report on their performance, if indeed they do represent the City of Cape Town as expected, nor whether they themselves are learning out of experiences shared at such platforms. Yet we continue to confirm their deployment. This is not in the spirit of the Constitution of SALGA, and it's neither in the spirit of building togetherness and hegemony in the municipality that we are serving. The ANC do not support the recommendation and will pursue SALGA leadership both at provincial and national level to intervene and give guidance on the matter. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Fasaki.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, there's only one change to the working groups, and that is Councillor Maswi from the EFF, who is replacing the former councillor, and that is captured in the report. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Then that recommendation is on page 1083. Can we move that recommendation with the ANC? Are you supporting it or not supporting it? ANC is against. Anybody else against? Recommendation is carried. All right, so we're moving on to item 48. 43. Oh, question, sorry. All right. Councillor Little, you have one question. Your question and answer appear on pages 1 to 3. 1, 2, and 3. And responses are in a separate document. Do you have any follow-up question?
Okay, here we go.
Maybe it was finger trouble.
I know. We even had beautiful pictures. Thank you so much, Speaker. I wasn't quite sure if it was for us or for the DA, but that's just a side issue.
If the cat fits.
Madam Speaker, I just want to mention, thank you very much for the response that I got. This is about the second or third time I'm asking the same question. Every time the mayor answers, he opens up another can of worms. Maybe I should ask him to refer to our dear friend, Mr. Ian Nielsen, on staff housing so that he understands I don't let a thing go. Ian, you need to tell him about the staff housing. So I am going to follow up, but I'll do it in writing.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. Item 44. Mr. Newman, Councillor Newman, you had a question which was answered on pages 4 to 5, and they're in a separate document. Do you have a follow-up question?
Speaker, I'll do so in writing.
Thank you very much. Item 45, Councillor Cupido, your question's answer is on page 6 to 9 and in a separate document. Do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, Speaker. Mr. Mayor, based on your own reply, it is clear that critical elements of CIVIC's mandate, including regular reporting to the city manager, joint meetings with the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee, and public participation, have either stalled or been entirely neglected since the revised handbook was adopted by this council in April 2023. Given the rising safety concerns in our communities and the legislative obligations under Section 64J of the South African Police Services Act, will you now in this sitting publicly commit to 1, to ensure that CIVIC submit formal written reports to both the city manager and council every quarter going forward; 2, that the required joint meeting between CIVIC and the portfolio committee are scheduled before the end of this calendar year; and 3, that your office table a plan within 30 days to restore the full functionality and legal of CIVIC. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Councillor. This morning, just before our meeting started, or as our meeting started, I sent a letter to the chairperson of CIVOC, Ms. Tager, and also to the chairperson of our Safety and Security Portfolio Committee, Councillor Nglavashe, reminding them of the Council Resolution C180423, and that resolution requires them to have the regular meetings that you refer to, and asking them to provide the feedback that you have referred to. So what you have asked for, I have already done this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then item 46, Councillor Steenberg, your responses or answers on page 10. Follow-up question. No, thank you very much. Then we move on. Item 48, the recommendation is on page 51. Councillor Hendricks. Is Councillor Hendricks there? No? Councillor Hyam?
Thank you, Speaker. Disappointingly, I've prepared a whole speech, but I'll just move the item. Thank you.
Thank you. The recommendation's on page 51. Those in favour? It's for noting. Thank you very much. Then we move on to item 52. Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to commend the Finance Directorate for running a very tight ship. One cannot significantly fault your department's procedural spending of Cape Town taxpayers' money. You do so very effectively, achieving mostly all of your targets. So my question today is not over the way you have spent the taxpayers' money in this report, but rather how you got the taxpayers' money in this report. The mayor has a very difficult job, as he explained to us last time, of looking after the best interest of not just Cape Town, but also the Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, Northwest Province, Mpumalanga, and various other provinces in South Africa to make sure that all of the ANC supporters in the ANC-controlled provinces are well looked after by Cape Town taxpayers. So as the Finance Department, it is your...
Please.
So as the Finance Department, it is your duty to make the mayor aware of the financial constraints that you face. Our lawyers have looked at the SAPOA court case against the city and in its new budget and are convinced that your measures to charge for services such as water, sanitation, and cleaning relative to property value is blatantly unconstitutional. Therefore, it is highly likely that the court will render this new DA budget unworkable. In consideration of this, with regards to your report, as the experts and guardians of Cape Town's finances, you have three primary options. Number one, will you reduce spending, forcing the mayor to cut back on the subsidizing of economic migrants? Or number two, will you continue to burden the taxpayers of Cape Town through further increases in rates and tariffs? Or number three, in light of the fact that we in Cape Town paid National Treasury over 230 billion rand this year and received back less than 5 billion rand in our city's allocation, or in other words, only 2%. To once and for all.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Councillor Miller, for your kind words towards the Financial Directorate. Much appreciated. I also want to expand to say that we need to continuously expand our tax base in order for us to continue with our social programs. Madam Speaker, this item is for noting, and so we note the item. Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to item 54. Councillor Jacobs.
Madam Speaker, fellow councillors, good afternoon. The Human Settlements third quarter report paints a troubling picture, one that cannot be ignored. This report reveals underperformance, poor delivery, zero progress on certain key projects, multiple missed targets, capital projects shows a delay. And by the end of the third quarter, the Directorate had spent only 55% of its operational budget, falling short of the 69% target. This indicates a significant under-expenditure on operational funds, money that was available but not used to serve the people. The Directorate also aimed to service 990 informal settlement sites, but only 221 were delivered, a mere 22% of the target. The Portfolio Committee of Human Settlements rightfully flagged these concerns, Speaker, and urged the Directorate to signal these issues early and step up delivery so that annual targets could be met. And Speaker, I want to take a moment to commend the Human Settlements Portfolio Committee for their honesty and accountability in highlighting the real state of the Directorate. Today I rise not to politic, but to protect. To protect hundreds and thousands of Cape Townians still waiting for housing opportunities and still living in rental stock that is crumbling around them. Because this report reveals a concerning truth. We are not just falling short on these figures, but on promises as well. The Directorate committed to attend to 90% of C3 maintenance requests. Only 58% were achieved. And why? Because of a shortage of materials, supply issues, and a lack of vehicles. Speaker, how is it possible that with hundreds of millions of rands allocated for maintenance and upgrades, our teams don't have the tools or the transport to do their jobs? The report confirms this. This isn't just statistic. It means thousands of families have had to live with leaking roofs, broken doors, faulty electrics, and plumbing issues. These are not financial failures. The money was there. These are operational failures, inefficiencies, delay that rob our people of dignity. It is deeply concerning that in a well-run city and well-resourced, that our maintenance teams can't perform because the van is stuck at the depot and therefore no stock to fix a leaking pipe. And while we do appreciate the Director's proposal to establish a central warehouse to improve material availability, it's too late for the families who already spent winter with a leaking roof, broken staircases, and had to endure another winter in wet, unsafe conditions. Speaker, we cannot come to Council and congratulate ourselves for budget spend when delivery on the ground is broken. The city's job is not to tick off expenditure targets. It is to deliver dignity. This report exposes a harsh truth. The department is managing money, but it is not maintaining homes. And if the contractors cannot deliver, they must be replaced. If the supply chain is failing, it must be restructured. If the systems are broken, they must be rebuilt. Because money alone doesn't fix a broken window, action does. Speaker, I want to be clear. I'm not here to shame the Directorate. I stand in agreement with the Human Settlements Portfolio Committee, and I challenge the Directorate as the custodians of our city's housing mandate to do better. And if Councillor Popham today happens to have his usual monthly panic attacks, when this council dares to echo the concerns raised by his own portfolio committee, I trust that he will remember and understand we are here to speak for the people, not to silence their voices. In conclusion, Speaker, we want to also acknowledge and celebrate the successes in this report. However, we cannot hide behind the while our own rental stocks deteriorates. Because maintenance is not just about walls, wires, and windows. It's about who we value and how we value the people who live within them. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Popham.
Oh, thanks, Madam Speaker.
Can I just remind you to breathe before you start?
No, I'm good. I'm cool. Don't worry. You know, Speaker, as the disgruntled breakaway party of the ACDP, no, relax, it's true. Ara will know that scripture reminds us when Lot's wife refused to look forward, she turned into a pillar of salt. So I want to remind the councillor that we are currently in Q1 of the new financial year. I note his concerns that existed in Q3. I'm happy to report that in fact the Human has achieved a 96% expenditure by the end of the financial year against all odds. I'm happy to further report that projects where there has been delays, and I've always been open with this council, Madam Speaker, projects like Macassar, and I've taken a hard stance that contractors who fail our Directorate will be investigated and where required even blacklisted with National Treasury. Macassar is such an example. Edward Avenue, where we experienced the exact same issue, not just in my Directorate, multiple directorates in the city, civil elements, has been reported to National Treasury. So the argument is that we don't profess to be perfect, but we will always be perfect in our response. A response that puts the residents of our city first. A response that will root out corruption, mismanagement, or malfeasance. And that is the DA difference. When you go to other municipalities, it's the other way around. We root out the good officials and we allow the bad to continue, not in our city. And Madam Speaker, I want to perhaps conclude on the matter of public housing. And, you know, I think Mr. Jacobs is projecting his panic onto me, because he knows it was him that broke down city infrastructure at Altista Court in Lavendale. He knows it was him that forcibly put an illegal tenant into one of our units. And where his panic comes from is the letter that hasn't been sent to yet, Speaker, for the Code of Conduct violation from Councillor Jacobs and the police investigation. We'll continue to deliver to every single resident within the bounds of our fiscal framework and our capacity in the Directorate. Thank you. And Madam Speaker.
Councillor.
Madam Speaker. Councillor Stupido is also out of order. Because, Cupido, I beg your pardon, I withdraw that. Councillor Cupido is out of order. Because at the end of the day, when we invite stakeholders to forums to engage constructively, they choose to go and march to vacant sites to talk about affordable housing projects, which this mayor has progressed, and their former MMC, now Party Secretary General, has failed in the city. So at the end of the day, we remain to be a government that chooses to walk more than we talk, and we will deliver on the 2021 mandate that this DA caucus received from the people of Cape Town. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. We move on to item 54. Councillor Bowden. Councillor, the item is for noting.
It is a point for noting, but Speaker, every time we sit in this council and we must be misled by councillors. Please check your councillors. I'm
Quiet,
asking.
councillors.
I need to know by the councillor, did they win their case that he is highlighting? And the issues that he is bringing forward about this mayor that raised the...
Councillor.
I'm asking for clarity, Speaker. I am asking for clarity.
Okay, all right. So your question is?
I want to know who released those 11 pieces of land prior to the mayor getting
Thank
there,
you.
and who stopped it?
Oh, it's fine. She asked two questions. Come I deal with the first one. But it's weer voor op die waar. We lost the urgency interdict for the eviction. The eviction is currently in court. I accept that the High Court has said it is not urgent because the person has fully occupied the unit. So, hou op om voor op die waar te wees, sonder om die feite te ken. On the second one, you know what former Mayor De Lille and former MMC Heron did when they tried to cluster all these sites to deliver it to one contractor. It took Mayor Hill Lewis to put together a policy framework.
Councillors, listen to the answer. You asked the question.
It took Mayor Hill Lewis, before my time, to put together a policy framework, a discounting framework, to legally release our city-owned properties for affordable housing. Don't project your good messes on this DA government. Thank you, Madam
Thank you. We are moving on to item 58. The first speaker is Councillor Bowden.
Thank you, Speaker. First of all...
Councillors, please control yourself up there on that bench. Continue.
Good day, Speaker. First of all, I wish to congratulate the Water and Sanitation Directorate on their third term spending performance. But today I speak as a voice for the Hart Bay residents, where the city's failure to act is poisoning our oceans. Last Thursday, the 24th of July, I visited the Hart Bay Sports Complex. What I saw was disgraceful. Raw sewage overflowing from a manhole in the parking lot. And days earlier, sewage gushed across the basketball court where children played amidst feces and toilet paper. This is not a once-off occurrence. This is a crisis born of neglect. The city's sewer network is woefully under capacity. The city blames Imizamo Yetu settlement, yet only half the sewage flooding our oceans comes from IY. And the rest? It's from every home on the reticulation network, pumped via the marine outfall pipeline straight into the coastal waters. Residents in the unserviced areas of IY are forced to dispose of sewage into stormwater systems fouling the Disa River. The city claims the pipeline's dispersion zone is 500 meters. This is untrue. In a recent paper published in a journal Environments, research by Professor Leslie Petrick and co-authors shows mussels 5 kilometers away contaminated with pharmaceuticals. Mussels, a key indicator, prove the city is killing our marine biota. Hart Bay regulation and treatment, but what do they get? Raw sewage pumped into the ocean with no limits, thanks to the Minister of Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment scrapping regulations. This is environmental devastation and the city is complicit.
Thank you,
The
Councillor.
solutions are clear.
Councillor
Replace the
Badruddin.
outdated sewage pipelines.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Councillor Bowden, I think, simply acknowledged the success of the Directorate, making no further comment in terms of the content of the report itself, but specifically on some of the points that is made linked to Hout Bay. Now, the Hout Bay, these basketball courts in Hout Bay that unfortunately did suffer from some sewer overflows as a result of infrastructure on the sports ground itself, but has since been resolved quite quickly because Recreation and Parks and sewer team were able to work together to resolve that issue. The councillor also says that Imizamo Yetu is forced to dispose of the sewer into the stormwater system, and it will only come from a councillor who's probably never been to Imizamo Yetu himself, but looks at it from a hill across the valley. And I say that because I've actually spent time in Imizamo Yetu with the teams. I know for a fact that there are sanitation
for the community members in that community. It is true that the community is highly dense, that there is pollution going into the stormwater system. But what he also fails to mention is the fact that the operational team, together with the Catchment Management Forum, our Catchment Stormwater River Management team, reticulation officials, are in the process of putting together a plan to tackle the overflow leading into the Disa River, on top of what has already been done in terms of infrastructure investment in that area. Councillor Bowden's very good at standing in front of a camera, TikTok, social media, whatever, visiting police stations, opening up insignificant court cases against officials that have worked extremely hard to tackle some very stubborn and difficult issues. But the fact is, because he also attends the Permit Advisory Forum, and he knows for a fact that the scientists that he's naming here have also been invited to. It's an open invitation. Anybody can attend. They choose not to. So this councillor now presents stats and statistics and information in a way that seems to contradict what our scientists are saying. Eddie and I, or Alderman Andrews and I, have always been open to engagement, and Eddie, Deputy Mayor, apologies, his team will ensure that we have the engagements with these scientists. Madam Speaker, is that when we sit in this room for the Permit Advisory Forum, our scientists are saying that the marine outfalls are doing what they've been designed to do. Yes, we are R1 million to further enhance the processes at the marine outfalls, and I want Councillor to pay attention in these meetings and then not go onto social media and act like a fool, not knowing the facts that have been presented to him quite willingly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The items for noting. We move on to item 68. The first speaker is Councillor Dudazani.
Leadership of the opposition party, the ANC, councillors, progressive councillors of opposition parties, greetings. As much as this item is for noting, equally so be evaluated and reviewed for the riddance of misleading of the citizens of Cape Town from the malicious and non-true reflections in the reports. High levels of underspending in city with a high need of spending from poor communities in the Cape Flats. Informal settlement sites targets not met, 22 out of 990. Services sites targets not met. Title deeds targets not met. Formal sites targets not met. Projects within the Informal Settlement Directorate, 58%. Not met. The land acquisitions through USDG fund target not met, and somehow seems to not be reflecting in some of these reports. I wonder why would it not reflect? To whom do we want to give these lands to? Which private developers do we want them to benefit from these particular lands? Now let's speak to the visual facts. The ratio of installation of taps, toilets, and other basic services do not address and cater for the real numbers in poor communities. And you'll be told about how do we use the ratios across. But when you do the counting physically on the ground of what is supplied and given to our people, does not match the numbers, and they do not speak to each other. Awards were given to solid waste here today, while the same department is collapsing. Perfect example, let's go to the Cape Flats, let's go to Khayelitsha, let's go to Langa, let's go to Denoon, where recently I had to physically chase the MMC to come do a proper visit, and he after admitted, while being gutted of this collapse in solid waste. This had resulted in an extreme health dangers increasing in the Cape Flats and all poor communities that have become landfill sites. No reflection on blatant refusal on spending on disaster readiness. I can attest to this because in February, so there was a communication that took place between myself for Danoon, and the mayor was included within that communication. And a back and forth was done. And in that back and forth, eventually the mayor then agreed to say that proceed, let us not be reactionary, but let us be proactive.
Thank you. Councillor Lombi. It was 3 minutes. No, that was not. If you want extra minutes, you've got to take them off somebody else. So you come up with a plan, but that was 3 minutes. Councillor Lombi.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, councillors, mayor. In front of ourselves today, we have a quarterly report for noting. I must make it clear that the ANC is noting the report with concerns. However, Speaker, let me give some few details in terms of our concerns. The mayor lied about the capital expenditure, deceived people of Cape Town about the capital budget. Here are the facts.
Point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
You can't use that word.
It's a point of order.
You can't use that word without a substantive motion. He knows it.
So, Councillor, have you got something to substantiate that? Otherwise, you need to retract it.
Can I continue, Speaker?
If you stop saying that the mayor is lying unless you substantiate it.
I'm busy with my speech. I'm busy on my speech.
Are you going to substantiate it in your speech?
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, then go ahead. We'll deal with it. Councillor, Mr. Mayor.
On a point of order, the councillor must bring a substantive motion to justify that accusation. He cannot use it. It's language unbecoming of a councillor. You can say that. You can say that I've misled the chamber, but he cannot use that word without a substantive motion. He knows it.
Would you like to amend your statement?
Speaker, I'm not sure why the mayor is panicking, because my statement will be amending what he is worried about.
Oh, did you think that the mayor was misrepresenting? Yes.
Can you allow me to continue?
Point of order.
Speaker, Councillor Brendan van der Merwe told me to fuck off there from his seat.
Excuse me? All right, we will investigate that.
Brendan van der Merwe, I don't take kindly to being told I must fuck off.
Councillor van der Merwe, can you retract
Chase him out of the chambers.
Councillor van der Merwe.
Chase him out of the chambers.
Councillor van der Merwe, can you clarify and retract that?
No, can't be retracted. He must be chased out. We can't allow him to speak like that.
Quiet, I'm cheering.
I never said that, so I can't retract it.
All right, we're going to move on and we'll take a yes. Councillor Lombi, finish, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I think I have 5 minutes. I thought you recorded my time very well. Here are the facts about the capital budget that we know.
Just for the record, you also have 3 minutes. Okay, I'm not Trevor, but I never got a WhatsApp, but we will try and clarify it. Continue.
Okay. The city approved 12 billion in May 2024. It reduced its capital budget to 11.3 billion. As we speak, the city is underspending by 2.4 billion. Here are the culprits. Water and sanitation underspending 1.1 billion. Urban mobility underspending 717 million. Energy underspending by 143 million. Human settlement underspending 112 million. The mayor misled the Cape Town and the city council. He talked about 10 billion capital budget instead of 12 billion he tabled last year. Categorically, we must
Councillor
say
Little,
that
I'm naming you now for the first time.
categorically, we must state that the city must not just do a good consolidation of the report without a clear measures to deal with the issues that are delaying the project that are coming into our communities. As we said, the communities are in need of basic services, be it informal settlement or formal settlement. On the scorecard, we know very well that amongst other reasons is the issue of extortion that delays our project, is the randomization process that delays our project. And at this point in time, those are not the reason that's supposed to be mentioned if the city has a good plan in place to mitigate those issues. On the USDG funding, as an ANC, we would like to request that the city must put in place all the monitoring system for all source funding models. In the next quarter, we wish to see improvement, action, implementation of all projects that are allocated the funds. Thank you very much.
Councillor Soseko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think the report itself does state that the financial results that are on that report are provisional. Therefore,
Councillor Satoshi.
Mamela Zoch. Therefore, they may change, and they've changed. We've seen earlier today the mayor here giving awards to urban waste because they have changed, and they've changed to a point that the total capital expenditure for the city, as the mayor indicated, was just shy of 10 billion rand, and for water it was 95% and so on. So I think therefore that the councillors' input perhaps would have been important when we do debate the annual report, because then everything would have then been taken into account and the final results would have then been there. And also, Madam Speaker, the best way to really evaluate that this government is doing or cares for people is in its budget. And you look at the budget when we started this term for water, you look at it now, it has doubled. And therefore that on its own is an indication therefore that this administration cares for our communities. And also if you look at urban mobility as well, you look at it has also doubled from the initial 1.4 billion rand to just over 2.56 billion rand. And in particular, where the councillors are, they do see the changes that are taking place in the Kylie-Chamishas Plain corridor. They do see the changes that are taking place. Obviously not in Rwanda, Councillor Mawawa. It is in Kylie. And those changes not only are going to bring work opportunities to the people in the area, but they'll be able to afford the community an opportunity for a provision of transport at an affordable rate. And they've got, in fact, people in they will be spoiled for choice between Uber, taxi, Golden Arrow, My City, and the train. And nowhere else in the city would you have that choice other than between Mitchell's Plain and Khayelitsha. So if these councillors can assist the contractors in those areas to realize those projects and assist in having people moving out, especially in Councillor Kopman's ward, Councillor Chita's ward, to Councillor Matigane's ward in Mfuleni, we will then see the realization of those projects. Other than that, Madam Speaker, I move the recommendation.
Thank you. It's for noting. So that concludes that session. Councillor Satoshi, a question of clarity.
Yes, Speaker. A question of clarity to Councillor Ban. You just said the figures have changed. I want to take you to page 508 of the agenda, and you tell me what you see here. 508 of the agenda. 508. Here before me, the actual expenditure of the city before us is 8.9 billion rand from the original budget of 12 billion rands. So it translates that to negative via. So where is this 92% that the mayor was talking about this morning? Where was it?
Thank you. Councillor, Mr. Mayor, do you want to respond? Or Councillor Madam Biza? Yes, but he already answered that when he said it changed. Councillor Bandezi?
Thanks, Madam Speaker. I think Alderman Sotache is deliberately not quoting the adjusted budget that we did in January. I'm saying because you're looking at the 12 billion range, you're not looking at what was adjusted in January. So if you look at what was adjusted in January, then it would qualify for what the mayor has indicated earlier, that we have achieved 92%, not on the 12 billion rand.
All right. Okay, the item is noted. We're going to close the session of open council and move into the in-committee session. Can I ask the guests in the gallery to vacate?